the children to bed. It's time for Dan and Aldo to bare their souls.
I love the Chicago Bears more than I do masturbating, and that is a lot.
Then, with 3 seconds left, Bob Avellini throws a 30-something-yard touchdown pass to Greg Latta, and the Bears win, and I literally shit my pants. I swear to God, I literally did.
Eric Kramer, for me, I love the guy. He's a tragic figure. I mean, he embodies all that is.
If they don't run the ball here, I'm going to vomit. I swear to God.
Look, I don't mean any disrespect. He just didn't play that well. Not for a guy of his caliber.
You know, they won, but I'm going to be miserable all week because they stunk.
I don't really have any recollection of that at all, but I guess perhaps I blacked it all out.
So, Dan, tape is the ultimate tool for scouts and for coaches to evaluate players, to detect plays and so forth. And they spend hours looking at tape, right? Why do they so often get shit wrong?
I love the efficiency of bourbon.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dan and Aldo.
Dan Aguire, how are you, my friend?
We are well. The Mrs. is here too.
Yes, I am.
Hi, Nikki, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am mad at you.
What?
You're taking my Dan away.
I swear this has nothing to do with me. I swear this has nothing to do with me.
I know. I had to start the show that way because it's an emotional show. This is Dan Aguire's last show on Bare Their Souls. We're going to get into that just a little bit here at the top and then talk a lot more about it in our last 45 minutes or so. But Dan, Nikki, I'm so glad you're here. Tooch is scheduled to join us in about 50 minutes for his Bear State of Affairs. But let's not bury the lead. Dan Aguire, why don't you let people know what's going on in your personal life and why what started off as the Dan and Aldo Bare Their Soul show, now it's just going to be Bare Their Souls or Barry Eberflus, maybe. We'll rename it.
Dan and Aldo bare their assholes. Their bare hole.
That's good. So what is it that's going on in your personal life that's going to demand?
It's the other job, man. Back in the day when I first started at 911, they had this group of people, these older people that had been there since you could smoke cigarettes in courtrooms. and they were reliable, and there was a bunch of hungry upstarts such as myself, born in the 1980s, that were ready to go to work. And sure enough, those people retired, and then we flipped over, and we're the ones on top. And then anybody born in 2000 whatever has no work ethic. Sorry.
Right.
Nobody wants to work. They're all entitled. They all think that everything should be handed to them, and consequently, we can't keep anybody. And we're so severely understaffed that they're going to have to schedule us for 8 p.m. until 8 a.m. Eastern time, 12-hour shifts, to try to mitigate the loss of employees. As a result, I won't be here at the radio station more often than not to do the show, unfortunately.
But we did talk a little bit about the possibility of you coming in and doing 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever time might permit.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing. I didn't want you to think that I was like, oh, this is my last show. And by the way, next week I'll be with Phil and Shane on the Take Never Life. Hey, I should shout them out
like I've told you 100 times, you're welcome to go wherever. There's no hard feelings. But I understand what you're telling me. This is not about you wanting to go somewhere.
No, I don't want to go anywhere. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to be facetious toward them either, in the sense that when I joined the bar room, they were very much a part of it. And everybody knows that Phil was the guy. I was like, I want that guy to be my friend so badly. So, so he played a big part of me wanting to be on the network. And I'm so thankful that I got here, Thanksgiving being tomorrow. I've had a good run. I don't want to go. I feel like I'm retiring, or I'm being cut, or I'm being traded. But the only reason I'm not doing the show is because of lack of time. And who knows, maybe that changes at some point. Right. But in the foreseeable future, I'm afraid it's not going to.
Bersky says he knows exactly what you're going through. He works at 911 too, and those 12-hour schedules are brutal. Vizzo says, Dan, we're going to miss those memories of old games that you tell so well. Well, it's not just the old games. This guy is a natural-born storyteller, and I, for one, would love it if sometime in your future, Dan, you did a show where you could tell stories, because you're so good at it. You have great recall. When you're just ad-libbing, you structure stories so well and tell them so well. So hopefully that'll happen in your future.
Well, like I said, my goal is to still be here in some capacity. Maybe at some point we go back to 8-hour shifts. I told you there are some people at the job that are trying to fight it. Maybe they fight it and they say, okay, January 1, you go back, but it doesn't look like that. Starting December 1, we go to the 12-hour shifts, which will preclude me from being here at that time.
Nikki, what are you hoping that, Dan, do you hope that Dan can somehow with this new schedule have a little less stress, or do you think it's going to increase it for him?
It's going to be absolutely no different. He is always going to be stressed out. It's going to be no different.
That is true. It's kind of his natural DNA, isn't it?
Yeah, I happen to find him being neurotic, very erotic. So it really works out pretty well.
I've never heard that before. I once went out with a neurotic chick, and she was so scared to suck my dick.
Oh no!
Come on, no.
No, it was a bad joke. It was a bad joke. But what about for yourself, Nikki? Besides having more sex, is this going to have an impact on your life that you'll have him on Tuesdays potentially?
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, with his, it says, he works these 12-hour stints, and then he's supposed to be off for, a couple days or 3 days in a row. But I mean, just the way with his job being so shorthanded, he's kind of a supervisor there. I mean, it's still really in the air, we just really never know what he's going to work day to day.
And then again, the problem here at the radio station, I pitched that, well, if I have to work at 8 p.m. over there, I come in here earlier during the day and get my responsibilities taken care of. And I was denied that. They were like, no, we want you for the evening. If you can't be here for the evening, just come in on the days that you're off. Okay. So let's say I come in. You're like, all right, why not do the show that day? Because I'm going to have to do like 3 days worth of work that I'm missing here all in one shift. And that takes my time.
Wow, man. It seems like when it's not one thing with my man Dan Aguire, it's another thing. There's so many challenges you just had a part of your fence blown off its roots.
These windstorms are killing me. But yeah, it looks like it's fixed. Knock on wood. That's why we worked from right at kickoff on Sunday, and it was like 5 p.m. So it would have been 4 p.m. your time. So it was 4 hours to get the fence back up. And then I watched the game afterwards, and natural transition to think, I was telling her, I was like, well, if we can score here, then we can go on side. And I'm like calling it all out for her. And I was like, it's unlikely, but we can give it a go. And this happened in 2001. And of course we got it. Oh, fuck. I told you. Well, he's got to complete a pass. He's got to spike the ball. He's got to kick the field goal. We kick the field goal. That's a big deal now. We can't kick them. And then we get the ball. We've got momentum and we do nothing in overtime. It's so discouraging.
It truly, truly is. This being a fan of this Bears team is getting more and more frustrating. But there is some hope. Are you getting the feeling, Dan, that Caleb really is the one?
I never thought that he wasn't. I
Okay.
mean, he struggled opening day. It was opening day, and whether he wants to admit that he was nervous, he probably was. He sucked
Mhm.
against the Cardinals, I get it, but I still never thought, oh, he's got to be a polished veteran in week 8. I always thought that he would improve, and there is some fear that he wouldn't because we've seen Mitchell Trubisky and Cade McNown, and the first round picks that didn't work, and unfortunately Justin Fields is part of that too. But I thought that he would come around, and hopefully he will continue to improve.
It's it's starting to look a lot better. Brandon says, Dan, it's been a pleasure, and I hope the 12s somehow feel like 8s until they are again. Well said, Brandon.
Thank you. I'm used to working 4 hours here and then 8 there. So in the scheme of things, 12 hours is still the same schedule.
Right.
But where I'm not here and having free time, that is the thing that precludes me from doing the podcast.
Yeah, that's the thing that worries me about you, Dan, is your sleep schedule is so fucked up with these 2 jobs and stuff. Nikki, have you noticed that?
Oh,
does
it's I don't know how he is breathing. Like, I don't know how he's alive. I don't know how a human runs on he sometimes sleeps 3 or 4 hours a day.
Wow.
And I just don't know how he functions.
I'm like Nixon during Watergate, man. I'm talking to old photos.
Is there a Henry Kissinger nearby?
Thankfully not.
Oh, good. Well, let's talk a little football, and then when John gets here in about 40 minutes, we'll listen to his Bears State of Affairs, talk a little bit more football, and then we'll talk about life in general. So Dan has already started with the Vikings talk, and we've got several topics to talk about. One of them being this boundary camp. And when Dan and I talked earlier today, he reminded me of this part of the game where the Bears challenged the play, and then Mike Piera shared this piece of information.
This is the boundary cam, and if a coach challenges, you cannot use the boundary cam. There's not boundary cams in every stadium, so there's a question of equity, whether some stadiums have it and some don't have it. So when a coach is challenged, you can't. On a regular review situation, like a scoring play, they can, but not a coach's challenge.
Interesting, as Darnold is snowed under.
Dan, what do you think about Mike's
Why do all of these
explanation?
calls like this always go against us?
Yeah, I hear you.
There's an obvious pass interference in the end zone. DJ Moore throws it deep. Oh, there's no call. Why? And then the catch the Bears had on the sidelines, was that a Dunze? It was going to be 1st and goal. And then they're like, well, they send Santos on the field. It didn't really look like he was out of bounds, but they revert. The call on the field was a catch, by the way, but they reversed the call. That's okay. Good old number 8's going to have to kick it's blocked. It's blocked in the same fucking spot as last week. And then the Vikings are like, yeah, they didn't change up their protections whatsoever. We were stunned. I'm stunned.
And in the press conference, I should have pulled this clip, but basically Hightower, said that Coach Eberflus was making mistakes. He was kind of pointing the finger. There is this kind of feeling at Hallis Hall that everybody now is fighting for their jobs because they know that the head coach is going to be fired. And so Richard Hightower doesn't want to become a position coach again. He wants to stay at that coordinator pay. And, everybody is starting to say things that give you the impression, yeah, we know that Matt's out the door. It's kind of sad, actually.
Let me tell Nikki this one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You weren't there yet. When she showed up, the Bears, she'd just gotten off work. Again, the game was already over, but not for me because I started it late. So we were on that drive when I guess the Bears were down 27-16 and then scored and went for 2 and then got the onside. So I was telling her stuff about that the camera play, and oh my God, another block. But imagine this scenario. Okay, it's 4th down. What are the Bears going to do? Looks like they're going to go for it. All right, this is earlier before you arrived. But the field goal kicker, Santos, is coming on the field, and the long snapper. So everyone that's going to do the field goal is coming on the field. But the offense is on the field like, no, get off the field, get off the field. Well, it turns out Matt Eberflus, it's just like an FM or AM switch on his radio. He can turn over to special teams and say, hey, we're going to go for it on fourth down. But he didn't do that. So special teams thought we're going to kick the field goal. So they send the field goal team out. And then Caleb's like, get the fuck off the field. So by the time they get off the field, there's like, okay, there's 5 seconds. Go. And he has to snap it and throws it. It's incomplete.
Wow.
Because they had no time to call the protection out or anything or set the play because Eberflus forgot to turn over his radio and tell the special teams that we're going to go for it.
Wow.
He did. He did hold himself accountable. I actually do have a clip of Hightower talking about it.
A lot of confusion. A lot of people have talked about it. What happened with Cairo and Daly coming on the field and the offense going for it?
Yeah, I think Coach addressed that, and talked about communication and him being better in that moment, which I thought was awesome by him because that's exactly what happened. And, and he has the right to do and say whatever he wants when it comes to fourth down or anything like that. So we got the guys off and then they rock and roll and went with the offensive play. So
Were you in the loop? Did you know what was happening on that play as your guys are running out there? Did you know they were going for it?
Well, what happened was, and I think he said this already, Jay, he said this already, that he was on the other line maybe, and he just didn't get it communicated back to us. So that's what happened. I don't, unless it's 2 minute or something like that. Thomas is trying to call plays. I don't talk on the offensive channel. I don't do all of that stuff. I don't let those guys do their deal because we're making adjustments, corrections, and everything on our special teams channel and game management. And got to do a lot of clicking too. So I got to talk to a lot of different people too.
Dan, how's that strike you? What he said?
He was being honest, but he was saying, this guy's a dummy. It's not me. Don't blame me. This fourth down play was not executed because of Matt Eberflus.
That's exactly what I heard there.
Yep, this guy is a dumbass.
Exactly. And I'm tired of looking stupid on his behalf. I'm glad he finally stepped up and took the blame because it was his fault. That's what it sounded like to me. It's like, because throughout his 2.5 years here, Eberflus, never said this was on me. It's been in the last week or two, I think really after the Washington game where he heard the players were upset that he didn't take accountability for the play before the Hail Mary that allowed them to advance the ball 15 yards uncontested and still have time on the clock to kick the game-winning field goal. So since then, he slowly started to take accountability, but I think it's a little too late for you, sir. Then what happens if they win the next 5 games and win out the rest of the season? Is he back?
With the Bears, you never know. But I can
That's
remember who was the coach that preceded Vrabel in Tennessee. I say that because I remember Tennessee went into Kansas City and beat the Chiefs with Mariota, and that's how Matt Nagy ended up the Bears coach. But the reason I referenced that is the Titans coach won a playoff game in KC and then still got fired despite winning a playoff game because they said, well, we're not going anywhere with him.
Wow. Bersky says there's tape out there. He's got it. I'd like to maybe use it, but I don't know if I can get to it. We're jam-packed. But he says Keenan Allen went into even more depth on that play. It was ugly. And that is another weird thing is that you got the veteran players like DJ and Keenan and Mercedes Lewis, although Mercedes isn't doing it with the media. But they're just revealing a lot of the bullshit that goes on with the coaches, particularly Eberflus. Before that, it was Waldron.
Something else that I would want to question that I've really not heard many people talk about because in the end, the Bears ended up correcting it. But when you're down 24, what was the score there? It was 24-10. And then you score a touchdown. You kick the extra point and make it 24-17. Why did he go for two? And then Fox kept saying, this is what the analytics say. You go for two here. No, you don't. You go for the extra point and make it a 7-point game. Thank God on the other side of that, they did get the 2-point conversion. Because remember, when they scored, they had to go for two and the onside kick. So, but I don't think they should have gone for two there at all. I think you kick and you're down 7.
Yeah, this has been a big contention. I watched a little bit of CHGO and Hogue and Braggs were going at it, and I agree with Hogue. You should read the situation. Has your offense been scoring? Are you really confident you can get a 2-point play? Because it would be nice then on the next possession you score, and now you just need an extra point to actually win the game or go ahead late in the game. And then if you don't make the 2-pointer, you could at least try to make the 2-pointer to tie the game. So from that standpoint, it sort of makes sense, but I don't think you do that at home. I don't think you do that with this offense that is not, running on all cylinders yet. So it was a bad call by Eberflus, but I understand the analytics to a degree, but I would be very cautious about using them.
I think that's if you're playing who's a prolific offense like the 98 Vikings, the 2007 Patriots, if you're playing a team that's scoring the 83 Redskins, 500 points or 600 points a season, and you're like, this is the only way we can hang with them is by going for two, then I get that. But Minnesota is not exactly a juggernaut. They've got obviously good players that can score 30 points, but just I didn't think that it justified the game situation. To me, you kick right there.
I totally agree. On that 4th down and 4, Bearski is typing out some of what Keenan Allen said. He said that the play that was called wasn't even a good play, though, because it was the audible out of the run, and they tried their best, literally had to wing it. Yeah, and I remember Caleb talking about it. He said that because they were such in a rush that he didn't get clearly through his headsets the play from Brown. So, he goes up there and they call a terrible play. It was just a catastrophe. Having been a Bears fan for as long as we have, you look back at the history of this team because they've so often had bad offenses. You got to wonder, this isn't the only time shit like this has happened.
Can you think of, I'm sure it has happened. I don't want to have a victim complex, but can you at any point, can you remember a game where this happened to the opposing team?
Oh,
Don Mikowski didn't have his shit together. The Packers suck today. Randy Wright, they had to waste timeouts. Oh, we didn't even call a timeout there. Why should we have called a timeout? But
yeah, because I don't watch the other games real quickly, but I can name you some coaches where I wouldn't be at all surprised where they fucked things up royally, like Kevin Wiesenhutt, who was with what team did he was? Ken Wiesenhunt.
Yeah. But he did take the Cardinals to the Super Bowl in 2008.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, it wasn't Wiesenhunt that I was thinking. I was thinking of Nathaniel Hackett.
Oh, yeah, Hackett. Yeah.
Hackett. There you go. And so he was with Denver, and even Sean Payton, who took over for him, said a bunch of derogatory things about him. And then Aaron Rodgers, of course, stood up for him. That's my friend. You shut up, Sean Payton. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So I bet you there's a lot of – anybody got guesses on what coaches out there could have fucked up things up? I would love to hear. And I'll ask Greg about it. Greg and I are going to do a show on Friday to talk about the Bears and a bunch of other stuff. So,
think there's a chance that Rodgers follows Favre to the Vikings?
Ooh, I don't think so. Because they drafted J.J. McCarthy, and I don't think that would be poisonous.
If Rodgers got cut by the Jets, you'd have to think, even if Sam's having a good year, that Rodgers is better than Darnold, right? So,
yeah, but I'm not quite sure of that right now, to be honest with you. Having watched him play in 2 or 3 games this season, he doesn't look anywhere near what he was as a Packer before his Achilles injury. And maybe it's going to take another year to fully heal so he can be himself. But I don't see that. I mean, the guy isn't getting younger. He's going to be, 41 next year? So I think his career is over.
I hope
They
so.
don't even want him on commercials anymore. You don't see him on a State Farm commercial anymore. Nikki, you seen him in a commercial lately?
No.
Now, if we could just get rid of Mahomes. Kermit the Frog is in every other commercial, and it drives me crazy.
That is, he's getting more endorsements than Shaq. Like, this is
How
getting
about
ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. By the way, Daniel Jones, formerly of the Giants, signed or is signing with the Vikings. Did you hear that?
I did not. I knew he was getting cut. It's how quickly one falls from he went up to Minnesota as a member of the Giants a few years ago and blew them out.
Yeah.
Blew them out in a playoff game up there and got a big contract. And in like 2 years, he's done.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
That beyond amazing. Beyond amazing.
Because you thought, well, this guy's arrived now because they blew Minnesota out in Minnesota. Sure. And so he gets paid, and then now he's a Viking. Like, God.
So,
how about the Bears, by the way? How about the Bears, not to interrupt you? They hurt Darnold temporarily, and they bring in Nick Mullins, who looks just like Adam Johns, comes in on 3rd and 13, hasn't thrown a pass the whole season, and, of course, gets a first down because suddenly the Bears' defense is like the worst in the league.
Yeah, they were playing off like about 15 yards. It's like, wow, we're afraid of this Mullins kid. We know he hasn't played him forever, but he's probably going to beat us deep. So they leave the underneath wide open. It was so stupid. They should have blitzed or had some linebackers in the area. It's just so fucking dumb.
He looks like Adam Johns, too, I'm telling you.
Yeah, he does, right? You're absolutely right. What about the getting back to the coach? You've been hearing, have you heard any of Thomas Brown's press conferences?
Yeah, I mean, usually it's in sound bites, though. I'm not awake when they're doing the pressers live. So if he speaks for, say, 15 minutes, I'm only hearing it in clips. But yeah, he's impressive. You compared him earlier off air to Mike Tomlin, and that's not just the obvious in terms of ethnicity. Just the way he talks, the way his charisma.
Yes. He's got, like Caleb said, he's got a certain aura. So I actually, you've probably heard a lot of these clips. I actually pieced together some of the clips so that people can get a sense as to who this guy is, because there's more and more potential that he could be named the successor if him and Caleb continue to develop together. It's like a 5-game audition. Even if he's not named the interim coach, if he, as the offensive coach, can unlock the true potential of Caleb, it could be pretty amazing. Let's listen to Thomas Brown talk a little.
He has a certain aura to him that he just allows you to play free. He knows what he wants, and he knows what he wants.
Football is a violent game, and it rewards those that play the game violently.
This throw he does to the right side, caught, lunging for a first down catch.
It's simple. It doesn't matter what I'm comfortable with. I don't play, right? So I can always adapt and adjust. It's our job to design a plan to obviously attack the defense, but also favor what we do well. To me, always, first and foremost, like, play with no fear. Like, we're not going to coach scared, they're going to play scared.
DJ Moore, they fake the give to him. Williams will step up over the middle, zips it into Keenan Allen.
Then on game, they let it rip, man. Like, we don't fear failure or fear mistakes. I think the true test of a leader and the goal of a leader is to make people and situations better. Design an offense and call the game. I want to try to find ways to alleviate stress off the two most stressful positions, which is the O-line and the quarterback. How many ways can we design unsackable plays? That's, always the goal. Ball out mentality. Let a guy's play in space. He can be decisive because decisive is effective. The wrinkles I want to add is whatever's best for our team. So it's regardless of what I may want to do, because it's not about me. I just believe in being authentic, being myself, because I was a huge introvert before growing up, so I didn't talk. Never really shy, I would just keep to myself. And then having 3 boys who are all different personalities made me a better coach. Because when I first got into coaching, I was probably 24 years old, and I was kind of a one-size-fits-all. You're going to get it how I give it to you, and if you don't like it, that's your problem. Which is the wrong approach. And I think being hard on yourself is important to continue to have growth. But at the same time, we live in a world, he plays a spot where everybody's going to be hard on him. So you have to continue to punch yourself in the face. You have to give yourself some grace and move on to get better. But he's not soft, which I appreciate. Me and soft people sometimes don't always see eye to eye get along. We've made some great improvements, some great strides, but being good is not to be confused with being good enough. So I can be better, he can be better, the entire group can be better. So I think it's about finding that balance. And also what each individual player needs. Now, to me, it's a direct correlation between what you do throughout the week and what happens on game day. So the more I develop good habits, you get a good result. I develop bad habits, you have a bad result. It sounds like coach speak, but I am where my feet are. Just got done working in 2 minutes. And in the off season, when I kind of do my brainstorming, thinking about what I want to do, I think about what I have to do now. That's what the most important thing.
Man, guy turns me on, Nikki. I'm telling you,
hot. That's
my
hot.
nipples are hard.
Oh my God. Yes.
What can Brown do for you?
Let's do something for Caleb, and I will be satisfied all night long.
The one thing he said there was the exact opposite of what we always talked about with Matt Nagy. He was going to force his scheme on you no matter what. And he said, it doesn't matter what I think. I just have to do can you paraphrase it for me? Essentially, he was like, it's not about me. It's like I've got to convey it to them the way it helps them. Versus when Matt Nagy's like, it's my system and you better fucking catch on.
Right. When I worked in corporate communications, that was one of the things that was talked about is know your audience and talk to them. Coach, which translates to coach your players the way they want to be coached, the way they want to hear things. Some might be visual learners and only won't listen to speeches and stuff, and they got to see a diagram. Just really focus on 100% communication with the players or people in your organization. I have not seen anybody say, I dislike this guy. Everyone is like, I really like him. I like him. Dude is a pro. I love that coach. I'm telling you, there's a love affair.
Returning. There he is.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, you froze. I don't know if it was our system or yours, but you froze on us.
I didn't see a what you call it, so it could have been yours. I don't know, but anyway, we're back. Sama is saying, Aldo, please, good Lord. I don't know what he means by that. But anyway, I'm smitten with the guy. I would love to see, despite what happens Thursday, I think it's time to release Eberflus, and I'd love to see Brown named interim head coach just to see what he does with the entire team. Why not take him out for a drive, so to speak? And and
I'll play devil's advocate.
Please.
I don't want him to be the interim head coach because I want him to stay focused on Caleb.
Mm-hmm.
Just let him be the offensive coordinator. I'm all for Eberflus being fired. Mm-hmm. Maybe Eric Washington, who's been the DC but not able to call any plays, maybe he disagrees with Eberflus too. Like you said, play some bump and run, some tight coverage for fuck's sake. Maybe you make him the interim head coach. But the bottom line is I want to make Brown stay with Caleb and just continue to help him grow. And then maybe next year, whether you bring in someone like Mike Vrabel or John Gruden or Bill Belichick, whomever, then he makes a case to be the offensive coordinator.
I think that I was actually playing this scenario out in my head earlier. If Brown were named the head coach on Friday, he should immediately call a meeting with Eric Washington and delineate their responsibilities and basically say, just give me an update on the defense. The defense is yours for the rest of the season. I'm going to focus all my energies on the offense. But Brown would also address the entire team when they're going out in the field or whenever it's necessary. But basically, just leave Brown doing what he's doing, which is leading the offense, and have Eric Washington almost be a co-head coach. I hate the idea of – I hate how that sounds. The Cubs used to have a thing called the College of Coaches. They changed managers every 2 weeks. Did you ever hear that?
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was in the early 60s, the College of Coaches, and they lost about 100 games. So anyway.
You remember the Lakers tried to do that with Jerry West and Pat Riley.
Oh, that's right. They were
wanting to be co-coaches, and Jerry West was like, look, it's Pat's team, not mine.
Yeah. Wow. I'm telling you, man, the idea at first is appealing, but I think that egos just get in the way and destroy that whole concept of having multiple head coaches or high level assistants to the head coach. I don't know. What do you people in the chat think about that idea?
I have
Go
a
ahead.
movie that could exemplify what you're saying.
Oh, okay.
Scarface,
Oh, God.
as you know, was directed by Brian De Palma.
Absolutely.
But he had to kick Oliver Stone off the set because Oliver
Oh,
Stone wrote the
yeah.
screenplay. He's like, look, I know you think you're this hotshot director, but I'm directing this fucking movie. You're getting off the set.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he kicked him off the set. De Palma did, because he's like, I'm the director. You're not. You're the screenplay writer.
That's wild.
True.
Wonder if did that happen to Tarantino on any of the scripts that he wrote? Because he wrote one for Oliver Stone, and Oliver Stone basically.
Yeah, Oliver bought Natural Born Killers and changed it to where Oliver said that Quentin's script was violent just to be violent. He put that caveat on it saying that the media would irresponsibly glorify them and make them celebrities. So there was a point to the violence, saying that that's what the media does with the Menendez brothers, with OJ, with what was that woman that cut off the guy's dick?
Lorena Bobbitt.
Yeah, yeah, all these Waco, Texas, all these things. So at least Oliver, from his perspective, the story had a point, and Tarantino was appalled by that, and still hates him to this day.
I think Stone was right. You know,
I
you're
agree.
gonna you need motivation for all that killing, and I just love the way Stone directed that movie. Just sensational, and you know, the media's role and all that, and Robert Downey's performance as that kind of hard copy.
And Robert Downey went to the set. To me, that shows you how good Oliver Stone is. He was supposed to just be a regular guy, and Robert Downey Jr. approaches Oliver Stone and says, "What if I make him Australian?" He could have been like, "What are you talking about?" No, but he was open to the idea, and they went with it.
I love it, man. I love it. That CD audio soundtrack has a lot of Downey's performances in that movie. His little monologues, and they'll play between some of the cuts. It's really cool to listen to.
We have it. We had it as kids. Natural Born Killers. Trent Reznor produced it from Nine Inch Nails.
Trent Reznor was the producer. That's right, and he's done several Hollywood movies now. That's his thing now, isn't it?
He's won some Academy Awards now. But what Trent back in the day said, he watched a pre-cut before it hit the theater. He watched Natural Born Killers over 20 times to get a feel on how to do the soundtrack.
Oh, wow.
He wanted to be in that mind space. Yeah.
By the way, do you like the humor of Anthony Jeselnik?
I'm not sure who that is.
I know who that is. Yeah, he's very, very dry, very, very deadpan.
Very out there too. You know, he makes a lot of jokes.
Yeah,
about killing kids and stuff.
Yes.
So I saw his Netflix special. I just want to play a tease to it, and you guys tell me if this is the type of humor that appeals to you.
One of my friends just asked me if I would be the sperm donor for her baby. I said, I don't know. That's a pretty big decision. How old's your baby?
What do you think?
I'm sorry. It's horrible, but I like it. It's horrible, but I like it.
Oh, and that's one of the tamer ones. And the special starts with him making jokes about trannies. But I saw an interview with him with Dan Liebetard, and he was talking about how he thought that Dave Chappelle's jokes about trainees, is it trainees or trannies?
Transsexuals, we'll say.
Transsexuals, yeah.
The trans community.
The trans community. And so he was saying that Chappelle was being too rough on them. And so he starts the concert with jokes about trans people that are fucking hilarious, but you can also kind of detect that they aren't as offensive as, at least in my opinion, as some of Chappelle's jokes, because his are a little edgier. Anyway, it's on Netflix. I saw about 45 minutes of the hour special. I highly recommend it. Anthony Jeselnik, Bones and something. It's called Bones and something. I don't know what it is. But check it out, guys.
Yeah, I've seen him on some of the Comedy Central roast.
Mm-hmm.
He did a lot of
Yes.
those. Yeah,
He
like
did,
10
he
years
did
ago.
Donald Trump. That was his
Yes.
breakout on Trump, and he did
Oh, it
Rose.
was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He's going to
Man,
Guantanamo Bay now, I think.
Yeah, a lot of us are. Leroy says Dave Chappelle hasn't been funny for 20 years. You know, what's funny is, Leroy, is I saw his last one and I was really disappointed with it. And this guy, Chappelle, is like Dan Aguire, just outstanding storyteller, outstanding. But I don't know, the humor, he's lost the humor in his storytelling. So I'm not sure what's going on there.
I can't agree with that. I think Chappelle's still good.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
J2K says the joke about the kid falling on his fence and he has to get a lawyer for his half of the kid is really funny. That is a funny concept. He's got another one where he's talking about how much he loves porn and that his family, they're having Thanksgiving Day dinner, and one of his cousins gets up and says, I have a confession to make. I'm addicted to porn and I'm not going to watch it anymore. And then Anthony Jeselnik stands up and says, hey, we could change the TV. So he's got some great ones, but I'm not a comedian, so we'll move on. Back to football. What do you guys think about tomorrow's game? Do you think that the Bears have a shot?
I just can't get a feel for it. Like, there's so many people that are like, Detroit's the best team in the league. They're going to win the Super Bowl. And I'm like, well, I think you're forgetting that the officials all reside at Arrowhead Stadium and love Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, and they want them to win 3 in a row. But be that as it may, perhaps Detroit represents the NFC in the Super Bowl. But even so, most of the teams that go to the Super Bowl are not 15-1 or 16-1 now. So they get upset along the way. So in theory, Caleb's playing better. Why not the Bears have a good day on Thursday? But everyone else seems to think they're going to lose by 30. I refuse to concede that point until it's over.
Well, you know, the Lions have not played well on Thanksgiving Day games. I think they got a 7-game losing streak.
The Bears have beaten them 3 in a row up there on Thanksgiving.
That's right, 3 in a row. And they've won 4 in a row. I got a little video with highlights of that that I'll save for when Tooch is here. But Jared Goff was asked about this losing streak and playing the Bears on Thursday. This is what he said.
Going into this game, trying to start a new streak for this
Yeah,
group.
it's a big part of it. I think you find your edge every week on reasons, that you need the W, other than just need a W. But yeah, that's certainly one of them for us, is that we haven't won on Thanksgiving. I know since I've been here, I don't know how much further before that, but that's a big thing. We play on Thanksgiving every year. Our fans come every year, and we want to get a W for them.
How's it different, I'm sure, preparing for a division team, a team that you know, versus maybe a team that you don't know quite as well?
Sure, yeah, it can be. I would say if we were playing them for the second time this year, it can help. It's the first time, so there's some new things. You're still getting the first time of watching all their tape. So I don't know if being in division helps much. I guess we know their personnel pretty good. They do some of the similar stuff from last year, but there are some differences, too, that we got to be aware of.
Dan, how'd this guy become one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL?
Well, I mean, he had a 500-yard game with the Rams and led them to a Super Bowl. It's not like he was a bum.
That's true.
But apparently McVay just didn't like him. Personally.
Is that right?
Yeah, they said McVay didn't like him and he didn't like McVay, so there's a little bit of that. But he was thought of as just a placeholder when the Lions traded Stafford for him along with everybody else. But so he's exceeded expectations, and I'm happy for him in that regard. But I wouldn't care if the Bears hurt him tomorrow, though.
Just, castrate him, or whatever it takes to beat him. I don't give a shit.
For sure.
The thing about Goff is you're absolutely right. He had some good years with the Rams, but it just always struck me that he was a product of the system. And then, as you mentioned, when he was traded to the Lions, he was supposed to be a placeholder for whoever they were going to draft with their high pick because they were losing so many games. But they saw something in him, and maybe it's this coach that could be the Bears coach next year, the offensive coordinator. Maybe he's behind.
I'm sorry. David
No,
Kaplan said he had a source that said Ben Johnson was 100% not interested in the Bears.
is that right?
Yep.
Why do you think? Did he explain why?
No, it was from an anonymous source that he knew.
Oh. See, I don't know, man. Why wouldn't you want to be Caleb Williams' head coach and work in the city of Chicago where you can make buku dollars?
Maybe it's
Is
the
it-
McCaskies.
Maybe it is, but the McCaskey State, their reputation is that they don't get involved. Now, there is growing speculation that Kevin Warren, because he was also named head of football operations and president, the guy who pretends to want to build a stadium, there is talk that he is becoming more and more involved in sharing opinions and asking, hanging around the head coach and the general manager, and that he may be playing a role with the Bears. Now, I don't know if that's true. I don't know. Does he strike you as the type of guy who would meddle?
I mean, it's kind of his job to be involved everywhere, I think, as the team president. But didn't I read that they solved the tax code problem with Arlington Heights?
Yeah, but it still doesn't mean they're going to build in Arlington Heights. They've agreed.
But that problem is done with the school taxes, right?
Well, it still has to go through an approval process from the school board district panel or something like that. They basically came to what is called the memorandum of understanding, and so they in that memorandum they've agreed on the amounts, but now it's got to be approved, and they think it will be approved. But
And
the
then
Bears
that's that. They can tell the
Bears,
city, if we can't get a deal with the city, then we've got our contingency.
right. That's how they probably will play it, and the city will say, fuck you. I don't see how the governor of Illinois is going to pay $2 billion for the building of the stadium when the school teachers are striking and there's so many other infrastructure needs. I don't fucking see it. So they better prepare for Arlington Heights. But they still say they're going to pursue the lakefront. So I don't know.
I mean, again, it's close enough. The Giants and the Jets don't even play in New York, for God's sake. They play in New Jersey. San Francisco plays in Santa Clara. Dallas plays in Arlington now. They were in Irving, Texas forever. They're in Arlington. Right. They're not in Dallas. So Washington is not in D.C. They're in Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not unprecedented for the Bears to play, 20 miles down the road at
Absolutely
Arlington Heights.
Yeah, they played in Champaign-Urbana for a season, didn't they?
Oh, that was terrible in 2002.
Oh my gosh, that was awful.
That's something that bothers me. Go ahead. No,
I was gonna say J2K says there's a rumor that Warren wanted Flus gone last year. This year he wants a splash higher. It's just a rumor, but man, that's a good sounding rumor. If he wanted Flus gone last year.
I agree. What I was gonna say, that you watch these broadcasts
and
they talk about Soldier Field. It's been around since the Bears have been playing there since 1970. And it's like, they fail to realize that the current Soldier Field didn't open until 2003. The stadium is not old. I know the name itself may be old, and they've been playing at Soldier Field by name since Butkus. But again, the new stadium, like you said, they were in Champaign in 2002 while it was being constructed, and they moved in. First game was against Green Bay on Monday Night Football in week 4 of 2003. The stadium's 21 years old.
And they stole a lot of money on it, which is another reason the state is not going to divvy up any money. Cliff says it's all in a negotiation. You're right. And Kevin Warren is supposed to be a master negotiator. And so we'll see if
he needs to negotiate Eberflus's departure in his severance package.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. They still don't have the fucking guts to tell us how many years they signed Eberflus for, which I think is just fucking ridiculous. And it just gives permission for other teams. I mean, I grew up always being told, don't ever ask, people how much money. And then I would open up Sport Magazine and would say, Pete Rose, the first $100,000 a year player. And so I noticed that in sports, it seemed like that rule was out the window. You could find out what everybody is paying for. So now being paid. So now I want to know how much Eberflus is making and for how long. He fucking lives in a palace.
Not for long. He's going to take his beehives with him to another
By
state.
the way, somebody earlier when we were talking about your job and stuff asked, why don't you move to Chicago? Would you and Nikki consider moving to Chicago?
I've got a mortgage, man. I've got a mortgage with 20 years remaining on it, and I'm 6 years away from retirement. So I'm stuck. Like I've been there 15 years, but 1 year was part-time, so it doesn't count. But I've got 14 and a half years in full-time. I need 20 to retire from there. I'm not going anywhere. They're going to have to fire me to get me out of there. I have to survive. I turn 50 and I can retire and be the fuck away from there.
What if CHGO, the Score Sports Radio, somebody else, ESPN 1000, offered you $150,000 to come and do 2 hours on morning radio?
I'm not qualified. I mean, I'm good at what I do here, but that doesn't say that not lack of confidence. That's a different word. What I'm looking for, it doesn't mean that I would be over enough with the audience to be in the third radio market in the country.
He's so modest.
It's not being modest.
You're
It's
so
being
modest.
realistic. People that someone like Kaplan had to earn his way there, and it wasn't just being a media market 200 versus 3,
Yeah, but things have changed. Producers, station owners, and stuff. They're looking for new voices. Look at how quickly Greg Braggs' star is rising over at CHGO. They want people like you, diehard fans, the voice of the fan, great storytellers. You've got so many of the qualities now that the new media, not so
Well,
maybe
I'm
not so
happy
much.
for Greg. I am very happy for Greg. He used to do shows with us, as you remember.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he got his way there, but I feel like Clint Eastwood said it in Magnum Force, a man's got to know his limitations. That's not being like not having confidence. It's being a realist.
Nikki, is that what Dan says to you before sex?
Yes.
You got to know my limitations.
He tells me, he says, this is going to be mediocre.
But that's so that I don't have to put a lot of work in.
You're just going to find this passable, and we're just going to have to make it through this.
And then she comes, and then I'm like, all right, just suck me up.
You do not. You do not.
Oh, you guys are great. Yeah, Braggs did a show called Braggs in the Stands. It was here on the Barroom Network. And I actually got to give a lot of credit to Phil and Shane, who are over at the Tape Never Lies. Phil in particular was pushing for Greg to have more of an on-camera role because he started off working mostly behind the scenes. And then he worked on a show with Joe, Fans in the Stands, and it took off. He's so effing dedicated. Anybody that wants to have that kind of career path just has to have the perseverance of a Greg Braggs, because I think that's a big part of why he is doing so well over at CHG.
Yeah, he had a great moment. Maybe I should call it an argument, but this is about a year ago. He and Mark Carman were doing a segment, and Mark, you remember, was at WGN first before going there. And Mark basically kept saying, because he was like, I still believe in Fields, and the Bears can win. And Mark was basically saying, you're such a fanboy, and you're not realistic, and blah, blah, blah. And Bragg said something to the effect, if I didn't believe, despite what people like you say, contrary to the fact, then I wouldn't be here. Because they'd have said, you lay bricks, you're never going to be a broadcaster. And he said, I believe in big things. I believe in the opportunity for the Bears, and that's why I'm here. And it really shut Mark Carman up. He was like, you're so fucking negative all the time, and you try to pass it off as you're being funny, but you're just negative. And he's like, I'm optimistic, and if I didn't believe in myself, I wouldn't be here. And I messaged Greg when I heard that. I was like, dude, that was inspirational. Like, no, I wasn't blowing smoke. Yeah, he thanked me. I was like, man, that was pretty fucking awesome. So he really he shut Mark Carman up.
Wow. I got to look for that clip. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was last season sometime when it was obvious that Justin probably wasn't going to be back, and he wanted him back, and he was just hoping for it, and thought until it's over, it's not over,
And Cliff Victoria is absolutely correct. He says, Dan, people like you. You're somebody. You are, Dan. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I kind of feel like I'm Brandon Marshall, and maybe Cutler likes me and nobody else does. You know.
Thank you, J2K. But I really didn't do much. Give people a little camera time, a little mic time, and it's their talent, their perseverance that gets shit done. So, but I appreciate the nice words there, kind words, J2K. All right, I want to get back to the Lions game. I got a little clip here of the head coaches talking about the opposing quarterbacks. So, Nagy, this reminds me a lot of Nagy. Flus on Goff and Campbell on Mr. Caleb Williams.
And Goff against the blitz, one of the best in the NFL. Here he is, 3rd and 7, crumbling pocket. It's St. Brown for 6.
Yeah, I mean, obviously very good player, veteran player, has seen a lot of ball, and he's playing at a very high level. You can see that with his QBR, completion percentage, the way he's distributing the ball to the athletes in space. So there's a lot of good things that they've been doing, and one of them is, the number one thing is they've been able to establish the run, with the 1-2 punch, and that's what they really rely on, their offensive line and that running game. So it's going to be a very big task for all 11 of us out there on the field, and we got to do a great job with that. But
and on 3rd and 12, Williams, a strike to Keenan Allen again. Allen is down near the 45 of Minnesota.
There is more quick game. There's a lot more quick game. Get the ball out. Pretty simple progressions that he's doing really well with, man. You watch him, bam, bam, bam. He's working across the board, flipping his hips, processes it pretty fast. And if it's not there, he takes off. I kind of mentioned that there is some shifts, motions, perfect plays, kills. So there's a little bit of that that's different than it was. But they're still doing some of the same things. So I think they've just, they're trying to give him the best opportunity to have success, or with any offense, as much as you can. We get this look, this is what we run. We get the other, we go to this. That helps. I mean, because now you're not worried about, I got to call this and run it against anything they could possibly give me. I know what it is, and it's the best opportunity to have success.
we got to do a great job with the skies. We got to do a great job with different looks, in terms of pressures, and all the things you need to do in situations too.
He's grown every game, but these last two, I really feel like he's taken off. And what they're doing with him has been really good for him. And he just looks very composed. Doesn't get frazzled, plays pretty fast. And, he's an accurate passer, big arm, and he's got some guys that can get open for him.
Juxtaposition between the two there. Nicely done.
Thank you. Which of those two coaches would you like to walk into a bar with?
Dan Campbell looks like he could be a wrestler.
No, he looks like the kind of guy that would take you to a cockfight on a date. That's what he looks like.
That too.
That's wild. Oh gosh. Ray Donovan says Dan is the man. You ever watch that show, Ray Donovan?
No, I really didn't watch it. I do like that actor though. The Liev, how do you say his name?
Liev Schreiber.
Yeah, I like him, and his voiceovers are great.
Yeah, he does the Hard Knocks.
Yeah, I really hate Detroit's running game because David Montgomery has done nothing but badmouth the Bears since he left.
Mm-hmm.
And the other guy, Gibbs, is like 138 pounds, and I'm like, I just want to hit this little boy and break his ribs. I can't stand little people, like somebody stomp on him.
That's funny.
Spud Webb. Kill this little guy. That's what I say every time we play them.
Yeah, really. Tony says, Dan, you're straightforward and a real man. Be proud.
Thank you, Tony. It's very kind. Very kind.
I fucking love you, man. We're gonna lose so much audience now that you're gone. I don't even think my wife will listen. Dan's gone. I'm not going to listen anymore.
I feel badly. I really do. Like I
don't feel bad.
I wish there was a way to work it out.
It's life. Life happens. My wife was out with her sister running errands, and so she calls me. So, have you talked to Dan? Is this really the last show? And I go, yeah, this is going to be the last show. And she goes, "Are you okay, honey?"
Aww.
I think I'll be okay. But
Well, I hope
somebody's left me again.
Well, please tell her that it's because of circumstances, nothing else.
No, I'm not going to tell her that. Fuck that.
Well, I don't want her to think that I wasn't loyal.
I'm going to say it was Nikki.
I didn't know. I do not want people to think I Yoko'd the
Yeah, you're
situation.
Yoko Ono
I did
here.
not Yoko this situation. I did
She
not Yoko this
Yoko.
situation.
Nikki Yoko me.
God damn it.
I love it.
Did you see
That
that?
is
I
awesome.
sent you an email last night, or I'm sorry, I copied a link where it said that John Lennon had petitioned Eric Clapton to start a band with him in 1971.
Yes.
Rolling Stone has it's a handwritten letter where Lennon wanted to start a band and talked about how they would tour and how they would record and how he and Yoko were huge fans of Clapton. They wanted him to join.
Oh, I didn't see that one. I saw Judge Grant's Jack Smith requested dismiss.
No, I
And
sent
then
that to Nikki. I'm sorry. I was talking to her.
okay.
Nikki's
Oh,
a
I'm
Beatles fan, a huge Beatles fan. So I sent that to her yesterday while she was asleep.
Oh, yeah, I'm a Beatles fan too, man. See, Nikki has taken it. I'm just playing.
Damn it.
Look at what Dan sent me, a picture of Jay Cutler in his new lay.
He's got a terrible beard, but he's still throwing the dick, man. Good for Jay.
Good for
Nice.
him. Yeah.
Nice.
Aldo said he looks terrible.
He does.
It's because of
Dude,
that beard.
Yeah,
man.
I don't like the beard.
Yeah, that one's pretty nasty looking. Cliff Victoria is asking about Ashton Genty. Have you seen this guy, Dan Aguire? Boise State?
Alshon Jeffrey. Who's Ashton Genty? I don't even know who that is.
He is. He looks like he could be the next Barry Sanders.
Oh God, where does he play at?
He plays at Idaho State. He says
Definitely
he
haven't
doesn't
seen
want to. He says he doesn't want to play for the Bears, though. But the Bears have a shot at drafting him. He says it's too cold, and beside DJ Swift is the number one over there.
Yeah, we need to draft an offensive lineman in the first round, and the second round, and the third round.
I agree, but this is one of those guys that doesn't need anybody to block because nobody can tackle him. It's just his bouncing off of people. It's pretty amazing. But that's where we are in Chicago, Nikki. We're talking about firing coaches. We're talking about the draft, which is in late April. We're talking about Social Security.
Social Security.
Retirement. That's what I'm
It's
talking
another
about.
loss. It's another season. It's another year off your life. You know, we don't know how many of these we have, and it's just another lost season. That's the most disappointing thing.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I
But
told you I finished. Go ahead. I'm stepping on you.
Just real quickly, I'm also excited about potentially having the opportunity to work with you on short projects. Like you and I could do a 15-minute, discussion and just post that up without any bells and whistles, just you and I talking about a movie, talking about a particular game, talking about whatever. If it's 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or whatever time you have available to come on with me, that to me is an exciting
I agree. I still think one of our better shows that we ever did was in the hotel room. Was that after the Vikings game?
Yes, it was.
We just did a show in the hotel room. Like after the game, it's like, well, fuck it. We don't have the equipment. Well, let's just do it anyway. We can.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, that was really good. That was a really good show. I mean, because
We
there was
were-
no script. We just turned it on and just went.
So if you guys don't remember or didn't watch it, Dan and I took our shirts off and we just had
Ooh.
towels wrapped around us in our hotel room with the beds in the background. And we talked about the Bears losing to the Vikings and how disappointed were, but we're really happy we were going to get to make love to each other.
The guys in Cleveland would have said that was true.
Yeah.
I bet that fellow was so sweaty. So sweaty.
Again, it's one of the greatest hit stories, but if you all don't remember, is in 2021 was Justin's first start, and our tickets were really low in the first level, so we were letting everybody leave after Justin had been sacked 9 times and the Bears had blown out. And so everyone's leaving, and so we're just sitting there waiting for the line to dissipate. And then a couple of guys look over us and say, "Oh, but you still have each other. You can still make love to each other or whatever." And all I said to him back was, "Thanks, homophobe." How does he know if you're going to suck Aldo's dick?
All right. I heard the guy, but it didn't really sink in because I was still fucking numb from the game. I mean,
The Bears will do that to you.
Oh yeah, I mean that was one of the most pathetic performances by a Bears team that I've seen in my many years.
That
of watching
Patriots
football.
game a few weeks ago, same deal, where Caleb got sacked like 9 times and just no offense, no life, no heart, no anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you remember doing a Senior Bowl episode?
It must be Danny Shemin because I don't watch college.
Yeah, it couldn't have been Dan Aguire.
Must be Danny Shemin. Danny's good too.
He's all right.
He sucks. What am I saying? No, I like Danny.
We may not do Draft on Tap this year because of scheduling issues. So everybody's leaving me.
We got the Buffon brothers and the monster grip of Sam Buffon.
Buffon brothers.
We could get Sam Buffon to arm wrestle Tyson Bagent's dad. I bet he could win.
Oh, that would be terrific. Those two guys, oh my gosh, one right after another.
Vaginal farts are wonderful things.
That is one thing, Dan, I want you to take with you for the rest of time. That memory of vaginal farts are wonderful things. You got to appreciate it. I haven't heard from Tooch. It's 9:15. He's usually here at 9:00. Let's see if he sent the message.
He got really hot and bothered by that, you guys in the hotel room in towels. I mean,
yeah, probably. Yes.
I think I need to excuse myself for a minute.
Oh, if only that were true. Oh, darn it. Let's see if he left a message here. No, he hasn't, but we can continue talking without him. Dan, this is the perfect video for you. As I was editing this together, I was thinking solely of you, my love, Dan Aguire, because it's a history piece. It's a history of the Bears' last 4 Thanksgiving Day games. So it's 3 minutes and 15 seconds long. Take a look at it, and then let's talk about each of the 4 games that this video touches on. These are the Bears' last 4 Thanksgiving Day games.
Play clock at 2. Started to slip, but they gets it away and wide open for the touchdown. It's Zach Miller, the 42nd. That's caught inside the 10-yard line, and Wilson will take the ball. Like to follow Unrein, and he's able to get into the end zone for the Chicago Bears. The 5-game losing streak is over for Chicago.
Losing streak ended on Thanksgiving Day. Can we do that tomorrow?
Yeah, that would be nice, right?
That Andy Dalton game, you and I did a show after that.
That's right, we did.
Yeah, I can't remember who else was with us, but yeah, that was such a forgettable game. And that one in 19 was as well. The one in Cutler won in Green Bay in 15 was just great to beat Aaron Rodgers. And that one with Eddie Jackson timing that interception on Stafford in 18 was great too. Of course, the Bears had a great year in 18, ruined by a missed field goal. But
was that game in Green Bay the last victory for Fox? Do you remember?
Overall?
Yeah.
No, he was there in 2016.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The following year.
He had one more year. They were 3-13 the next year. Might as well have been his last one.
Yeah.
The year that stands out to me the most when I think of Thanksgiving, there's two, or if you don't mind me giving you off topic of that, a couple memories.
I don't know.
Okay. I'll start out with one because it involves Nikki, but I'll save the main one for last. But 1997, the Bears are terrible. They're like 1-205. It's just things are not going well. But I didn't have Sunday ticket then, so I only got to watch them every so often. As fate would have it, we were going to her relatives, her family's house, specifically my friend Jason, who's her cousin, to watch the Bears that day. They were in Detroit. And for some reason, we left late. But Ricky Prohl had caught in one, maybe two touchdowns, and the Bears led 17-3. I thought, all right, maybe we're going to win this one. And then we take the drive. We're like, okay, we got to go now. I was like, well, we're going to miss like 20 minutes. By the time I got to our cousin's house, the Detroit was up by like 20. And we were up 17-3. And in a half-hour span, Detroit was up by almost 20. And we lost like 52-17 or some crazy shit. Couple other ones. 98 involving Detroit. How can you forget Jerome Bettis calling tails for the Pittsburgh Steelers? The call on the field, it's tails. Detroit ball. He gives the ball to the Lions and they win the game. The Steelers got cheated. But the most memorable for me was in 93. That day, you had all this horrendous weather in Texas. It was really warm here in West Virginia. It was like unseasonably, like 70 or something. And in Dallas that day, Miami was in Dallas, and I think it was Pete Stoyanovich went to kick the game-winning field goal, and it was blocked, and then Leon Lett touched it. And then that gave Miami another chance, and they kicked the field goal and beat them. And earlier that day, in Detroit, the Bears beat the Lions 10-7 on the strength of a 50-yard touchdown pass from Jim Harbaugh to Terry Obie. You remember Terry Obie, Aldo?
I do remember Terry Obie.
The Bears won 10-7. Jim Harbaugh to Terry Obie on a bomb from midfield. That game also featured Craig Ironhead Hayward, the late Craig Ironhead Hayward, as a Bear fullback, weighing 361 pounds, I think.
Wow.
He was so big as a Bear. Then he ended up having like a 1,000-yard year with the Falcons after that because he lost 100 pounds.
That's right. Yeah, he was a fan favorite here in Chicago for the short time he was here. I mean,
he was as big as me out there.
Yeah, he was a mini fridge. I think they called him back then.
45, Ironhead Hayward. But yeah, I love that pass to Terry Obie.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Dan, Toots should be here in a little while. He's taking care of some personal stuff. But I got somebody backstage who wants to come in and say hello to you. I think this is a guy that you will remember well. Let me make sure I got the right camera thing up here. Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, Sonny.
What's going on, fellas? How are you?
Sonny, how are you?
He's going to the San Francisco game, and he went to England earlier this year.
I thought he was going cruising with that shirt on.
Yeah. I came back to the camera earlier, so I never changed.
Welcome, brother. Welcome.
The thing Sonny and I have in common, we are both huge, massive Justin Fields supporters. And I think it's carried over to Caleb, but I know at the time he and I both really wanted Fields to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
No, absolutely. I think me and Dan were probably one of the few people, especially when it was I think it was that 2023 season where, the writing was on the wall, right? But that's your guy. So I'm loyal. I'm very loyal. I know Dan is loyal too. So it's
Absolutely.
like you don't want to trash your quarterback. You don't want to trash your team. I don't believe in that. So it was. We stayed behind Justin Fields all the way through until it was pretty much clear, that he was going to get traded. And then same as Dan, it was time to kind of, bury the body and move on. You got a new quarterback, you got to rally around the new guy, and that's it, man. There's nothing about it. But I did not like that phase of especially Bears Twitter around that time. I thought it was like a house divided, man, like a North versus South, man. It was ugly. It was very ugly. But I'm glad we're kind of out of that. And definitely agree with Dan that behind Caleb, absolutely.
Sonny, you've really taken a liking to Dan's podcasting, broadcasting style, and so forth. Why don't you put in your words what it's going to be like to miss him on this show, and to, I know you listen to him religiously, listen to the show religiously. Tell us, how you're feeling about this change.
Look, man, like Dan is one of the very few Bears fans where you could tell that he's just very passionate about. He's like what you would call a fanatic, right? He's very passionate about the Bears. Is like very similar to mine, like daily checking the Bears news. It's like, I don't want to say if his life revolves around the Bears, but it's a pretty big part of his life. I mean, we almost, when the season starts, me and Dan almost sometimes during the season, almost sometimes text and talk daily through our audio messages. And then when the season stops, we don't talk for those, So he's definitely going to be missed, man. I hope circumstances change and he can come back. But I've always appreciated his. He always had a different outlook. Sort of wanted to challenge I don't want to say the status quo, but like would want to push back and challenge on certain things. To give you an example, a little bit going back in history. I know Dan definitely will remember this, but stance on the Khalil Mack when Khalil Mack was on the Bears and the whole thing. I know what the arguments with him and Phil, which all respect to Phil. He's does a great job, but I've agreed with Dan at that time. It's like I can see Khalil Mack is getting double teamed. No one is arguing that, but at the end of the day, the goal is not being completed. And I think Dan was always trying to be that different person that will point out things, and I've always appreciated that. His memory is just insane. I mean, he's talking about the games like from 70s and 80s, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like I don't even know half of those players, but he knows them all. So definitely going to miss him, man. I've definitely enjoyed all of his shows that he's on. Definitely different outlook, and it will be missed. I hope you come back.
I appreciate your kind words, and I hate leaving. I truly do. I've often worried that I've just repeated the same stories and maybe the shtick is stale kind of thing. But in the same regard, I love working with Aldo and love just talking and hanging out. It's like we're not really doing a podcast. We're just like dudes hanging out. And that's why I thought the euphemism for the bar was perfect when it was the Bears bar room. The NFL wanted to fuck us on that. So but he's the one that had to pay for the lawyer. So it's not me. Fucked him, not me. But anyway, I just thought it was a great atmosphere. And like I told you before, man, when I heard Akeem Hicks and Kyle Long cussing and playing video games, I was like, God, this is exactly where I want to be. It's like a Howard Stern rated R radio for guys, because everything's about the kids. What about the kids? That's what censorship. And this was for adults, man. And I knew I wanted to be a part of it. And I don't want to go. It's just fucking life, man. I got to somehow make it to retirement. And if you're still alive, Aldo, and I'm still alive, we'll be talking about the 2030 Bears or the comeback show.
Oh my gosh, 2030. No, I won't be alive. Omar Barrios, yes. Just letting Omar and everyone else who has just joined us that Dan Aguire is leaving. As he was just saying, there are just some certain things with the job and the fact that he's sick of me. No.
Again, we don't have a lot of staff right now. People keep quitting, and they're having to switch us to 12-hour shifts as a result. I would be working 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. East time, which would preclude me from doing the show. It's simply because of that. You're not going to see me pop up on another show, and things like that happen, I guess. But I'm not that guy. So,
Sonny, while we have you here, what do you think about this Caleb Williams guy? Do you think that he really is the answer, and do you think that he can win a few games before the end of the season and has a new head coach?
You know what, man? Although I was hoping that we could, I don't know how much time you have with Tooch and everything, but I did want to touch upon. I've heard you guys talking about Thomas Brown earlier about wanting to make. I know a lot of people want him to make it a head coach. I guess my question is, how, as Bears fan, how do we know what's a good head coach? Because I mean, like, how is he? Is it maybe he's just a good play caller? Right. I think that fans are just ready for success and they kind of want it instantly. And I don't want to make a mistake where we hire the wrong guy. It's clear that Flus is out of the town, but the next guy we hire, you don't want to have to fire him the next 3-4 years later because he's also not working out. So I do feel that this next guy, I'm not sure how much I trust Poles, only because Poles to me is very. He's all about the culture, and I agree there has to be a culture, but I think it blinded him so much with this Flus situation that he believes that Flus knows how to bring the culture to the building, but he's not looking at it from the 30,000 feet to realize, like, Aldo, you worked, if I remember correctly, you worked for either Chicago Tribune, was it, or one of the
CBS
big things
here in Chicago. Yeah,
I mean,
Channel 2 in Chicago.
You've sort of worked in leadership, although, so you know fully well that as a leader, if you can't take accountability when your staff knows you fucked up and you don't take accountability, but all you do is kind of push it back on them, you fucking lost them. You've lost them forever. And like we've seen some of this stuff. I know all of this is just coming out now since week 8, but I want to say us three were at that damn Vikings game, if you guys remember, when we were like, man, it feels like they're trying to lose this game. And it's like, is this the culture you want? It's like, okay, yeah, like, I don't know, man. But it's like, it's little things like that end up adding up. So, again, I'm very nervous about the Thomas Brown. I would love it that he would work out. I do agree. But I like the portion where Dan talked about possibly making him interim head coach, just to see can he build a culture, because we do need that. If we're talking about a dynasty, I don't want to, to me, like, I'm looking at the Detroit Lions, they're great. Are they going to be great in 3 years? Because, like, these teams phase out real quick. Just ask the Bengals.
Ask Matt Nagy.
Yeah. Ask Matt Nagy in 2018, Yeah.
Real quick.
So, real quick. But yeah, sorry, I'm rambling a little bit on.
No, you're good, man.
Oh, all good, man. All good. But the one thing about potentially seeing Brown as the head coach is sometimes teams have to take chances on personalities. Yeah, you always want to see results. And we are seeing some incremental improvements in the offense. We still, I'm not saying make him the permanent head coach on Friday, but I would love if he continues to make an impression with the offense, and he is clearly demonstrating these leadership skills in press conferences, and you're hearing great things about him from the offensive team and even the members of the defense, then I think you need to take a chance, like the Rams took a chance on Sean McVay. And these young guys that are bringing new perspectives who connect more with today's football player. Those are the head coaches that I would like to see the Bears interview.
I'm getting a flashback to 2013, and this is the everything you're saying is how the Bears justified hiring Mark Trestman. Taking a swing, man, bringing this guy. He connects with Jay Cutler and the rest of the team. Offense, it's outside the box, but he's the right hire because he's a new generation's head coach. He's so smart, and the players can tell he's intelligent, and boy, did that not work.
It didn't work because he was coaching for the previous 9 years in Canada, And he had a history in his NFL career. He had a history of being with one team for a year, not because he was fired because of incompetence, but the team was constantly facing changes, new ownership, new head coach. And so he was a vagabond offensive coordinator, was deemed a quarterback whisperer, but he really had never proven anything in the NFL with NFL players. And so that was the warning sign as opposed to the Bruce Arians guy. Now, Brown does have some a good resume that I think that, I don't know, I feel like you can take a chance on him.
Yeah. The thing is, I'm very, I want to give him that interim because you'll see it. If someone's a leader, they'll show it. I'll tell you that working in that field, you know, who's kind of like how the players know who can play. Mm-hmm. Leaders can recognize leaders. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely on board with that. I share also a little bit of Dan's worry that, like, man, do you want to mess with Caleb? But to answer your earlier question about Caleb, man, doesn't he look different to you guys compared to the other Bears quarterbacks that we've had in similar situations?
Yep.
Where it's kind of like, I don't want to say you're making it Justin Fields point in case. I mean, me and Dan loved him. Still, still wanted to do well. But his rookie year, a lot of it was like, okay, well, he needs better line. You could tell that he needed more time. Caleb, he just seems like he needs a little bit more better line. And because if you give him time, that kid can deliver. He showed it multiple times during the game as well. So he seems very different. He looks special. He looks to me one of those players that, like, give him time, and it doesn't matter who the head coach is, he's going to do good. Because, like I said, I've always stood. I had always had this believing that if you're a special player, I don't give a shit who your fucking head coach is, you're going to be special. Like, Michael Jordan is because he's Michael Jordan. It's not because his fucking coach made him a Michael Jordan, okay? I'm sorry. Okay, we can talk about, like, Bill Belichick, greatest coach. He had Tom Brady. No, fuck that. Like, what happened to Jimmy Garoppolo? He was under fucking Bill Belichick for 5 years. Where the fuck is he at now? So at the end of the day, if you got it, you got it. If you don't, you fucking don't. Doesn't matter who your fucking coach is. So, and Caleb, to me, seems like one of these guys that it's like he's going to be carrying the coach. So it doesn't matter who the fucking head coach is. So as long as we cannot destroy him, the only thing that worries me about Caleb is his father is a businessman. And if we're fucking around for the next fucking 3-4 years with Caleb, kind of like we've been, who's to say that his dad is going to be like, no, you're not going to re-sign with the fucking Bears. We're going to put you where you're going to win a Super Bowl. I mean, like, that's a legit fucking worry of mine because we don't take winning seriously. It seems in this franchise.
Yeah, it does seem that way, but I do think that they do. It's just that there's a bunch of incompetent people doing the hiring, and the jury on Ryan Poles is still out. Yeah, he's made some good decisions, but he's also made some really bad ones. And for him to approve Shane Waldron and Luke Getsy and not have the foresight to see that neither one of those two guys was appropriate for today's athletic quarterbacks, the Justin Fields and the Caleb Williams, for him not to have the foresight to veto those selections for offensive coordinators worries me about Poles. And frankly, he has made some poor player acquisition. I think he should get a second chance to hire a head coach. There's a lot of Super Bowl winning general managers that have won Super Bowls with their second selection. And so I don't want to take that away from him because the nucleus for this team is rich. I mean, we've got some weapons at the wide receiver, at the quarterback, on defense, and so forth. And maybe just better coaching could really bring out that talent. At this point, the best question that's been asked at a press conference all year long was a couple of days before Waldron was fired. Herb Howard asked Matt Eberflus, "Are you willing to fall on your sword for Shane Waldron, or are you willing to make a change in an effort to save your job? I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but that was pretty much how blunt he fucking put it to the head coach of the Chicago Bears in a press conference with a room full of reporters who would not have asked that question, and a press conference that was on live streaming. And Eberflus looked like he had a tail between his eyes. Yeah, just about. So, Dad, do you remember that moment in the press conference?
I do.
Yeah, wasn't that something? I thought Herb did a fabulous, courageous job of asking that question and really putting it on the line for Flus.
I concur.
Yeah. I think Tooch is here. Tooch, let me know when you're ready to go. I got another question for Sonny while we have him. Sonny, I've noticed that the offensive line has actually played a little bit better. And not going to be great. You know, PFF has them like around early 20s, 21. And I think that's probably fair. But it does seem to me like Thomas Brown, because he is stressing, get the ball out, you know, and as he said in that video, we like to design unsackable plays. I love that line, unsackable. So he's helping the offensive line like good offensive coordinators do. They know their talent and they utilize or disguise the strengths and weaknesses. What do you think about the Bears offensive line right now? And then Dan, jump in.
Yeah, no, definitely improvement. As you said, I wondered, like I said, obviously they must have changed some type of a scheme, you know, whatever it comes to when it comes to play calling, but definitely it looks improved. It looks better. I'm liking this approach because we don't want a repeat of the Cleveland game where Justin Fields gets sacked 9 times, and I mean those were some of the bad sacks. Like he gets lit up. You know what I mean? Because you know that'll you can mess with a young quarterback that's still developing. But I'm glad that you could tell that they've definitely responded to whatever change they're bringing. To you know, to Dan's point that he was talking about earlier, where Matt Nagy was forcing his playbook. Looks like he's looking at my stat, you know, what my people can do, and then build off of that. Which is, you know, I don't want to say it's not much, but it's producing you better results than when you had that quote unquote full open playbook. Again, I don't know what the actual dynamics are, but you understand where I'm getting at.
Absolutely. Dan, what do you think about the O-line?
Well, I guess Bates is supposed to be back again, right? We feel like we've never seen him yet. I don't know what we have there.
He's out for tomorrow. His concussion. Him and Hicks.
Okay. Yeah. For some reason, I thought that he was questionable.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, so the way it is right now, Braxton, I guess I underappreciate him because I feel like he still gets bull rush, but we really missed him when he was gone. Tevin, I like, but I'm kind of like Greg Gabriel. At this point, how do you re-sign him if he can't stay healthy ever? Like the entire time he's been here. The center seems to be improving. Shelton seems to be a lot better than he was earlier in the year.
I agree.
Pryor, again, I don't think is great, but I think he's a big man and, you know, should be able to help make a difference. And Darnell Wright, again, you just feel like he's a good pick, but is having a bad second year, but is still decent enough. So altogether, I think the line is getting better, and hopefully they won't have another performance like they did against New England. If you recall, when Williams was sacked 9 times, it was terrible.
Yeah, I think those days are gone. I hope anyway. I'm getting a thumbs up from Johnny Santucci. So, Sonny, do you want to stick around?
I mean, you know, whatever. It's up to you guys. I don't mind.
You're more than welcome to stick around. Let me put Tooch. I might have to do some juggling here with camera work, so just bear with me as you go backstage, Sonny, and then I put Tooch on camera. Tooch, how are you, brother?
Oh, you're on mute.
A lot going on over here at the homestead.
How's mom?
It's like she doesn't. I don't want to go to bed. I'm like, it's 9 o'clock. You got to get in bed. I don't want to, you know. I fall asleep. I'm not young anymore, you know.
Yeah.
That's like that. Last night. She's like, I'm not going to bed. I'll sleep in my chair. She got like a reclining power chair, you know. Then she's like, I didn't sleep at all last night. You know? I'm like, no shit. You're in your fucking chair. You know?
Oh,
I mean, it's like, you know, I mean, my it's depressing around here, you know. It's like my mom's got this. I know it's the end, you know. It's the end of the story, the end of the journey, you know. She's like, well, what about, you know, it's like, I don't care if I die, I die. You know, men are different. You know, we don't care.
Yeah.
I'm going to the beach in the Philippines. I'll die there. You know, retiring there. You know,
Well,
just bury me in the fucking sand.
My heart goes out to you. And
yeah, man, I got the girls. The girls are helping me. They're putting on grandma
good.
socks, helping me change her diaper and stuff. You know, it's like I got to wipe my mom's butt. You know, it's like sucks. You know,
yeah, that's
you know how it is. Aldo, you had your mom,
Yeah.
same thing. You know,
yeah, you know, that's
they're never prepared
A lot
for
of
this
people like
sort
you,
of thing.
brother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're never prepared for this kind of stuff. You know,
right, exactly.
so
Tooch, are you aware of the news about Dan's last show?
I can't lose him, Aldo.
I know.
It's like this is like the worst holiday ever. It's like my mom's near the end. I'm losing Dan Aguire. The Bears suck, and every week the coach costs us a victory. It's like I can't. Yeah, I don't know how much more I can take. Being a Bears fan sucks, you know.
Yeah, the way you're putting it is making me sadder as opposed to making me feel better. I thought you were coming in with an upbeat.
Yeah, I know. You know, it's like
more screen time for Tooch.
Like last week, I was able to poke some fun. This week, I'm like ripping off sutures. You know. It's like,
well, I understand, given what you've been going through. So, do you have a Bear state of affairs for us? Hey! Oh no!
Bear state of affairs coming up, folks.
All right, well, we'll go backstage and you do your thing. All right, brother?
I'm ready. Yep.
All right.
Everyone on this show's a dog and a loser. Not John. He's the best, except for me. Except for me.
All right. Yeah, Bear state of affairs, NFL Week 13. What's happening, Barflies? Well, the Bears played their 11th game of the season, a 30-27 overtime loss. It was another almost victory. Yeah, a loss at home to their bitter rivals, the Minnesota Vikings. This was another stunning loss, another almost victory. Another game where Caleb Williams brought the Bears back from death and got them in position to win. Another highly improbable loss where the Bears scored 17 points in the fourth quarter, with 11 points coming in the last 22 seconds to tie the game and force overtime and give Aldo and I heart attacks. Yeah. Man. The stunning comeback also featured the Bears recovering an onside kick, down 3, and Caleb Williams making a great throw, a bullet to DJ Moore over the middle for a 27-yard gain, and then spiking the ball at the Vikings' 30-yard line with 4 seconds left. Cairo Santos then kicked a 48-yard field goal to tie the game at 27 apiece as time expired. Yeah, again, to summarize, the Bears recovered an onside kick, down 3 with 30 seconds left. Caleb Williams marches them down for a field goal. Santos makes it. Bears win the coin toss, and they still lost the game, Aldo. No wonder we're all on freaking life support. Yeah, honestly, I don't know much more I could take of these kind of losses. We're finding ways to lose in new and exciting ways, folks. Yeah, against the Vikings, in spite of another heartbreaking loss, Bears fans were treated to the Caleb Williams show, where the Sterling rookie made play after play, showing off his pocket awareness, his escapability, and his big arm. Yeah, Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell had some kind words for Caleb Williams, pulling him aside after the game and telling him that he will be a tough player to beat in the NFC North for a long time. Man, I hope Bears fans realize this. The Bears fans might remember Sunday's game as a bad loss, but a lot of fans will see it as the first time they realize that their favorite team has a quarterback who can rally the team from any deficit with his talent and ability. This Sunday, Caleb Williams threw for 340 yards and 2 touchdowns, and now he's got 2,356 yards passing on the season. That's good enough to break another Bears rookie passing record, Mitchell Trubisky's passing yards total of 2,193 yards. In 2 games since switching offensive coordinators, Caleb Williams has posted his 2 lowest pressure percentages of the season and his lowest average pass times of the season. As a result, his passing efficiency has gone up From weeks 1 to 9 to weeks 11 and 12, Williams' completion percentage jumped from 61% to 71%. His yards per attempt has gone from 6.3 to 7.1 yards, and his average pass time has dipped from 2.90 to 2.42 seconds. That's a testament to both Caleb Williams and newly promoted offensive coordinator Thomas Brown, who seems to have the offense humming. It was wholly apparent on Sunday against the Vikings as Williams made play after play, scrambling for first downs and completing big throw after big throw, only to be let down by his coaching staff again. Oh, my God. Again, there were more miscues on special teams, another blocked field goal, a muffed punt, and confusion where their veteran head coach apparently did not know that the special teams headset has its own channel.
Bundle Rooski.
Yeah, also inexplicably, Eberflus decided to go for two instead of kicking an extra point, and Cairo Santos was caught out on the field in a changeout because 3 years in, Matt Eberflus doesn't know which frequency his special teams coach is on.
It's so sad.
How does this happen? We're 3 years in, almost 3 years into Matt Eberflus' coaching career. How does it happen? How do we have a turnover on downs? A play that was rushed because the team doesn't know if their head coach wants to go for it. We had Cairo Santos running on the field, then running off late, slowing down the process. The team was late getting in the huddle. Last second snap, rush throw, dropped pass.
I'm crying.
I know. I'm crying too. Not only is Richard Hightower's special team showing signs of decay, but Eberflus's vaunted defense also seems to have lost much of its mojo. Where does a team go when their head coach is a defensive specialist and his defense is collapsing? Eberflus probably should have burned a timeout, but of course he already burned one on another failed challenge. I think I may have been wrong when I said that Matt Eberflus coaches not to lose. He actually coaches not to win, Aldo.
You're all right.
What the heck? I've never seen anything like it, folks. Yeah. You think the Lions question if Dan Campbell's going for it in that situation? No. Yeah, Bears question it because they don't know their identity. They don't have an identity under Matt Eberflus. Yeah, maybe that's what's missing. And we all know the remedy for that. Fire the head coach before he costs this team another victory.
I love it.
Yeah, by my count, Matt Eberflus has cost this team 6 wins over his 3 seasons. A total that is entirely unacceptable because basically your team starts off 0-2 every season.
That's one way to look at it.
Yeah, with Eberflus, you start off 0-2, man. Yeah, Eberflus is truly a master of losing every game in every possible way. He loses every possible winning game. It's possibly Hall of Fame level at making the wrong decisions and then watching his team collapse into defeat. Although I've never seen anything like it. As Bears head coach Matt Eberflus has compiled a 14-31 record and includes a 5-19 record in one-score games, by far the worst in NFL's history. And he's cost the team 6 wins by my count in his 3 years as Bears head coach. It's undoubtedly the worst resume put together by a head coach in NFL history. Yeah.
Sorry for being dramatic.
I know, right? Thanks, Coach. Yeah, but is it enough to remove this parasite of a head coach? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. The front office will see improvements on offense since Waldron was fired, like I said last week. Eberflus will undoubtedly stoke that narrative behind closed doors to try and save himself, and Bears fans might just see him on the sidelines next season. I hope I'm wrong, but man, could you imagine if that guy's there again next season? I don't know if I'm going to watch, Aldo.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and Ryan Poles, he's not going to escape any blame for me either. He seems resolute in retaining his brother. His seat is likely warming as the show continues on towards its end. And by all rights, his seat should be as hot as Eberflus's.
We got fucking fire, man!
That's right. Yeah, the owners, I don't think the owners care. They make money and the family's happy. Yes, it's unfair to the fans. That's why we're all depressed about our favorite football team. A serious franchise would have fired Eberflus before the season and let another coach develop this sterling rookie. A serious franchise recognizes and corrects their mistakes. A serious franchise doesn't linger over a floundering coach. They dispose of him. Yeah, the fans. Yeah, the fans want blood. They're like spectators at a gladiator match. They want Eberflus's head on a pike. It's fitting. Now the Bears head to Detroit on Thanksgiving Day to be fed to the Lions. While you're fed your turkey. Fed to the Lions while you're fed your turkey and gravy. It's Thanksgiving Eve. And tomorrow the real possibility looms of the Bears losing by 50 to the surging Lions. Yeah, the biggest question is whether Black Friday will be black enough for the Bears fans to see Matt Eberflus fired after another embarrassing loss. And that's Bears State of Affairs!
We're finished talking.
It was hard to be funny, although it's just, I'm tired of all these terrible losses, man.
It was great, man. That was one of your best.
Oh, thank you. I know. Oh, Dan is going to miss the Bears State of Affairs.
Well, Dan is going to order your State of Affairs. They're going to be emailed to him every week.
All right. Right on. We've got to find some way where we can build like a little studio at home. Maybe, Nikki will get a little hammer out and hammer together the studio and, wiring and stuff. And maybe if someone could donate a laptop and I'll send him a mic. I got an extra mic.
I got an extra mic too. And
yeah.
A mixer.
Yep. Plop some headphones on his giant head. And then,
or worst case scenario, could fire up the old iPhone,
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yep.
The thing is,
what night is he off?
It changes. It's going to rotate.
Oh, boy.
Like 1 week I won't have a day off, and then it just I don't know. So sometimes I'll be off on Sundays, sometimes they won't.
It's the rotation that's killing us. Yeah,
it's killing him.
Yeah,
that's what it's doing.
It's supposed to alleviate things. Like I'm about to work in the midst of working 13 straight days without a day off, and some doubles in there too. So it's supposed to allow me to get more days off and more relaxation is what they're saying, and to make sure it's covered. But again, it affects my second job, radio, which is why all this is happening. So.
This is Dan Aguire in a couple months.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I got that. I feel. I mean, I feel you, Dan. I got put on. We had some layoffs here. Thankfully, I escaped the axe. And I'm still working, but we had some layoffs here, and a gentleman that was on my team, he's basically the guy that does People Magazine, and like I inherited some of this workload. Man, it's People Magazine is a weekly, Aldo.
Yeah.
Meredith, we normally produce like monthlies or bi-monthlies or specials or quarterlies, but have to do this magazine every week. It's hard. I was by myself today, and I was stressing, really stressing on it.
Well, that's a big magazine. It's still one of the America's most popular and one of the only weeklies that are left,
Yeah.
I miss my Entertainment Weekly, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I know.
So, Dan, you got any questions or comments regarding Tuch's Bears State of Affairs? He dedicated it to you.
Yep.
I appreciate it. And all the stuff he's saying, like Sonny pointed out, he loved almost victory. All that is good, and like he said, I also can relate to something. It's hard to be funny during this because of how negative it is for everybody, how we all feel, and that's not being dramatic, to use the Coach Gruden thing. We all legitimately just feel terrible by all this shit, So I think given the situation, again, it's as good as it could have been,
Yeah.
Let's talk. One of the topics Tuch brought up was the defense and how poorly they're playing. Let's talk about that. Dan, are you surprised that the defense is playing poorly, and do you think it's the result of players not playing for Eberflus anymore as much as they used to?
That's a great question, Aldo.
I feel like for years they've been a little overrated. They were always taking those siestas. If the Bears would score, Trubisky with a touchdown. Now the Bears just need a stop to win the game. They would never get the stop. Same thing with Justin Fields. So I feel like as Bear fans, we just want the Bears defense to be great because of the way it was in the 80s. So I think we overinflate how good they are. So I never thought that they were as good as like we made them out to be. But am I surprised that they're giving up big chunks on the run and the pass? Perhaps. That they could be this bad and not be able to get any stops. And 3rd and 18, well, no problem. Sam Darnold to whomever the fuck, it just, yeah. So I was pleasantly surprised to see that Sweat had 6 pressures on Sunday. So at least getting him back in the positive thing, because I'm worried that he's starting to become Khalil Mack on us here. Just disappearing, you're getting paid a lot of money, man. You've got to wreak havoc. You've got to get sacks. You got to get pressures. And he was just gone from Washington until last week.
Yeah. The sack that he got last week, the quarterback had to hold the ball a long time. Darnold did. So it was kind of a coverage sack. Now, I'm not, hey, a sack is a sack. You take it. But I still want to see him take on an offensive tackle one-on-one and get to the quarterback in 2 seconds and get that clean sack. I want him to become that player again. I just think that his shin might still be giving him a problem, but there are reports that he's starting to feel better and better. Hopefully, with this short week, he's not going to re-injure himself. Tooch, what do you think about this defense?
Yeah, I mean, to me, like I said in Bears Say Affairs, it seems to have lost its mojo. I mean, before we were great at stopping the run. I know we lost Andrew Billings and stuff, but Aldo brought the point up that perhaps the team is kind of losing its will to play hard for Eberflus. But that's how it looks like to me.
Yeah, what do you think, Sonny?
Yeah, you know what? I slightly mixed. I do agree with Tooch that I think the key problem is that lately we can't stop the run for whatever reason. I don't know, is it the injuries or what? But that's causing a lot of problems. But to me, if I look at the season overall, the defense has kept us in these games, almost every game except the Vikings and the Cardinals, where we just got blown up. But almost every other game, you're in that range between 18 to 20, 21 points, which, your offense should be able to put up 24, you're hoping, right? So I feel that they're giving us a chance. They're not like elite where they're the ones taking it on themselves and they're the ones closing out the game. But I do feel they're giving you a chance. But lately, like, either it's the injuries or whatnot, but like we've been getting murdered by the run. And like, I think that maybe that's causing for the opposing team to have a better passing game as well on top of it. So I have mixed feelings. I do see the arrow, as they say, kind of trending down badly. It's not like it's a slow, steady decline. It kind of went, that damn Washington game kind of like really startled this whole team from offense to defense to special teams.
Stevenson has been terrible ever since.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
He's if you look at it, that's what I was talking about earlier when I was talking to Aldo, like as a leader, he completely threw that guy under the bus. Meanwhile, bro, you're the one that made a lot of these decisions. He fucked up the Harry. Okay. But you made a lot of fucking bad mistakes by yourself. So you could have said, like, man, you know what?
Exactly.
We all did bad. Me included. Starts with me. And we'll have a discussion with the players of who could have done what. But like, no, man. And like, it was worse that even after the players the next day would give out an interview where they kind of would like hint that like, yeah, we could have done this differently, this and that. He would still double down on what he said earlier. It's like, fuck, man. Like, this is a clear indication of bad communication between the top management all the way down. Not everyone's on the same page, clearly, and like that, the lack of accountability, I think, is the kiss of death for Flus. He can be a great defensive coordinator, and the defense can do whatever, but at the end of the day, it's gone.
Everything I said last week's Bears State of Affairs is coming true. They're like they said, well, after we got rid of Waldron, the offense is going a lot better with Thomas Brown. That's what I said. That's how they get out. And all of the problems that the team is facing, they're all Eberflus's fault. He's created every single hurdle that this team has to get over. You know, and the only thing Bears fans have left is to hope that the team recognizes that the coach is the problem. You know,
do you guys feel like this will be a deciding, I don't want to say a deciding moment for polls, but it'll tell us a lot after this Detroit game, especially if they lose and they don't fire
the axe is
Flus?
hanging. The axe is hanging right now.
But like, what would that tell you about polls if he doesn't do that?
Polls might not escape. I don't think. You know, I mean, he's just as much to blame. But the trend is to let GMs have a second shot at a head coach. Why they allow that? I don't know. You know,
exactly.
But he's already cost us 1 year of Caleb's development.
If you all recall, there was a report like 3 years ago that the Bears were going to fire Nagy after the Bears Thanksgiving game, and then it got leaked, and it seemed that the Bears were defiant and like, okay, we're not going to fire him because everyone says we're going to.
Great memory. Yeah, I forgot about that.
So I hope that that's not what's going to happen this year. I hope. But first off, if it means keeping him the rest of the year, if we win tomorrow, then let's just keep him because I want to win.
The biggest question right now is if the Bears get blown out tomorrow, let's say it's like 52-14, like a Trestman style beating. You know, does Eberflus, does he survive Friday? I can't see it, Aldo, but
I can't see it either. I can't see it, and it would be. Sonny makes a great point. It would be negligence on the part of the general manager. Now, perhaps his bosses are saying, "No, we've got a tradition here. We'll just stick out the last few games," but hopefully, Poles is smart enough and persuasive enough to convince his superiors, if they are objecting, to convince them that the best decision for the health of the team, not only for the rest of the season, but for 2025 and beyond, is to get rid of this clown. Because it truly has gotten that bad, where I can confidently say he's a clown. He's making mistakes now that he didn't make in his rookie year. The pressure has got to him. That whatever hair dye he's using is fucking with his brain. Something is wrong with this guy, and he's got to go. Nikki, am I being too rough on
I can't
it?
imagine that guy sleeping at night.
No, you are
without
not.
sleeping pills.
It's the beard. It's the beard.
It's the fucking beard.
It caused all of this.
I hate the beard.
Yep.
Although
he's trying to grow the Fidel Castro beard, I think.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. He wants to be dictator. No, revolution time. Go ahead, Sonny.
The point that you were making earlier about like when you said, well, the Bears ownership may come to him and be like, well, that's not how we do things here in Chicago. Like at some point we need a GM that and we'll see who Post is, but at the end of the day, like if we're gonna talk about breaking the wheel, then break the goddamn wheel. Then fire the motherfucking guy, especially if you have the fucking guy that could be a interim coach that could potentially give you something.
Yeah.
Yeah, his assistants may have quit on him, Starin.
Yeah. I got a feeling they're all fighting for their jobs right now.
At this point, they're all at this point. You can tell they're all sort of like drawing lines, as you said. Although they're kind of protecting themselves. I saw someone earlier in the comment made a notion that like he knows that Flus is out the door, so he's just using his aura. It's like, yeah, I agree.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
I love the fact that Thomas Brown is rising up while everyone else is sinking.
Isn't that
kind
cool?
of love that. Yeah, the guy's called some good games, man. I mean, Caleb Williams threw for 340 yards. We're always asking for a quarterback to throw for 300 yards. I mean, he took a bad sack in overtime and stuff, but he's a rookie, man. That pass to DJ Moore, in the fourth quarter, just to get us down in field goal range. I never seen a Bears quarterback. I mean, maybe Jay Cutler, but I mean that was a hell of a rocket.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. There were on Sunday, there were a few people who were aggravating the shit out of me because they were critical of Caleb. Well, what happened for those 2.5 quarters where he did nothing and this? And I'm like, dude, you're failing to appreciate what exactly is going on here. Here's a guy who's a rookie facing the most complex defense in pro football, a defense that devours rookie quarterbacks.
Context, although no context.
No context whatsoever. It was just really, I'm trying to be a nice guy on social media, but I really wanted to call that guy a stupid fucking asshole.
Yeah, look, this is the same. We said Justin Fields would make a lot of plays in spite of his coaches. We're saying the same thing right now. Caleb Williams making a ton of plays in spite of his coaches. You know, his coaches are costing him wins.
The only thing that I would say that where it comes to, since we're kind of talking Justin Fields, Caleb now, and I don't know how you guys, if you feel the same way. Justin Fields, to me, as much as we always supported him, he was always, to me, like when we're out playing game, it felt just like Fields is part of the team. He's one of the players. Caleb, more and more, to me, feels like he's like driving this team, especially like case in point. That Vikings is like, I'm not gonna lose this fucking game, and it's like he's being the like I'm taking over, and it's like I haven't seen that from a lot of Bears quarterbacks, and I was wondering if you guys see the same thing where it feels that he's taking more of a role, even though he's a rookie. Where you know what I mean? Like I said,
we're never out of a game with him in the fourth quarter.
Right.
As long as we're in striking distance, we're never out of a game. I tell you, that's what the future looks like. If we get the right people in to coach this kid and build a team around him, we're never out of a game.
Yep. I was so impressed. Just real quickly, I was so impressed with the quotes from Bears players after Sunday's loss. They were talking Keenan Allen and DJ Moore and a couple other players, Cole Kmet. They were talking so glowingly about Caleb's command and his coolness and the incredible throws and so forth. That to me helped ease the loss because again, now we've unfortunately in a situation where the season really is all about Caleb. How good can we make him? How fast can he improve in these next 5-6 games so that next season in 2025 he comes out of the gate playing at a premium level. That's what it's all about. So there's hope. There's hope, and hopefully with the firing of Flus, the hope will multiply. Yeah. Hey, Dan, do you have to leave early?
Yeah, does he have to work tonight?
Yeah, I do. I do have to work early, but yeah, Nikki's got I guess she's been doing too much cocaine. What's going on over there?
I got a nosebleed. I don't know. It's really weird.
Yeah, it's the dry
Out of
air.
the ordinary. Yeah, that's
Forced
what
air.
I'm thinking.
My girls too. My girls.
It's going to be. It was like, I don't know, 50 degrees today, and then by Friday it's going to be in the 20s. So fucking headaches abound.
Before you go, I'd love Sonny to say his final words to you, and then Tooch, and then myself, and then you can close the show, Dan.
Okay.
I got another thing I wanted to share with people, but
why don't you share it then after that?
A little talk about the Lions tomorrow, Lions game.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after that.
Does he have to leave now?
Yeah, well, we got to go clean her up.
Okay.
Got in the other room. She's got
live
news here.
I want to show Nikki because while she's here, I went on Sunday. I went to see one of my favorite bands. They're probably my favorite live band called Here Come the Mummies, and they put on such a great show. So I have a short clip from the concert. It was at the Valair Ballroom in West Des Moines here, about walking distance from my house. And a song's called "Kinda Lingers," which if you say it fast, it's a euphemism. Can you say it fast, Danny? Kinda lingers.
Cunnilingus, I got you.
Anyways, that's because the band sings about sex all the time. I got a little clip I'll show from the show.
I kept waiting for Eddie Murphy to show up and then go into the 48 Hour song.
Yeah, the song is kind of
Boys are back in town
in the morning. He's got the smell of her on him. That's the gist of the song. But they have a lot of great songs. They dress as mummies and they play funk.
So you saw that show live?
That was Sunday. Yep, that was me taking the video. Yep.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, great
quality.
show. Amazing show. Yep, that's just
I wasn't quite getting the cunnilingus vibe. I don't know. Were you, Nikki?
I didn't get a tingle, but it's okay.
Yeah, they have a lot of songs like that. Like, they're all sex. Coming in my pants. The song's called Pants.
Oh, that's fun. That's
Coming in My
fun.
Pants. It's about a guy dressing up for his date. And then there's Can I Get Some Booty? Another song they have.
Can you? They
got another song called Bring It Down. It's like, bring that booty down. They have a bunch of so they have another song called they play the song on Sunday called Three-Way on the Freeway. About a three-way on the freeway.
I'd love to.
Song's so good, man. Their horn section is amazing.
Their horn section's amazing.
their horn section, the horn arrangement's amazing. Yeah, definitely. If Barflies, if this band passes through your town, don't miss the chance to go see them.
Nope.
All right, Sonny, why don't you say a couple parting words for Dan and try to make me cry?
Yeah.
I'll try to keep it short. Dan, we'll definitely miss you, man. I hope circumstances change, and this is just a short see you later, not a goodbye, man. Please, stay in touch with all of us. Good luck, whatever you're doing, man. And before you go, we do want to know your prediction for tomorrow. If you have the Bears or you have the Lions.
If I say Detroit and then the Bears lose, I'll blame myself. So I'm
Of course
telling
you will. Yes.
I'm telling you, the Bears are winning tomorrow.
All right.
I don't know the score.
Yeah.
I'm going Bears.
The last time the Lions were 10-1 was 1934. In their 12th game, they lost to the Bears 19-16 on Thanksgiving. And no, Aldo was not at that game.
But Virginia was there, I bet.
That's right.
Virginia
I was at that
there.
game.
Sure was.
I was at that game.
My dad wasn't even there.
I was there. I fucked Virginia. Anyway, Tooch, your final words. Oh, look
This
at
guy
how
was
bad
there.
I look. Oh,
Look
my
at that guy.
gosh.
Nikki, would you hit that?
It's young Aldo.
Let me see. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm across the room. Oh my God. Yes, totally. You are the whitest Latino I've ever seen in my life.
Hey, he looks cool there. He looks like a cross between Pacino as Carlito's Way.
Yeah.
And Fisher Stevens on Short Circuit.
Yeah, I'd smash.
Look at that handsome devil.
Yeah, I'd smash.
Aldo Suave.
I have a new fantasy to masturbate to, if you don't mind, Dan.
I don't mind.
I think I might masturbate to that picture.
Tooch, say your final words to Dan Aguire.
I can't do it. I can't. He's irreplaceable. He's irreplaceable, Aldo.
That's true.
There's no one like him. This is the only one in the entire universe. There's only one Dan Aguire.
That's true.
It's like, I'm crying.
You too, huh?
We need to.
Well, I'll just say this.
Cryings.
I had the chance to talk to Dan on the phone, and I told him how much our friendship means to each other, and that this doesn't change any of it. I know that circumstances are what they are. I frankly have been looking for opportunities to do less work, and so this might be there might be a silver lining here, so I could spend some more time, and then Dan and I could do some specialty projects. I could spend some more time with my family and stuff. So we'll see about that. But the key thing is that I love Dan Aguire. He's one of my best friends that I've ever had in my entire life. My relationship is going to be stronger than ever as the days go on. I'm so happy he's found Nikki in his life, and I told him today that's the most important thing you've got, brother. Nikki is keeping her happy and so forth. And so if you have more time to spend with her, and it comes at the cost of the show, I'm all for that. So I love you both. You're a great couple, and Dan, I'll turn it over to you. To you and Nikki.
Well, like I told you, I feel like I'm letting you down. I know you've told me you haven't, but I just feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm leaving you, and you deserve for me to be there with you, but it's really not. I can't change it. So my hand's being forced is what I'm trying to say, to belabor the point. And I appreciate all the kind words and everyone who's typed kind words as well that aren't on the show. I'll steal this from Phil and give you a couple of shout outs before I go. How about that?
I love it. Love it.
The obvious ones, all of you. I've met John a few times, met Sonny at Soldier Field against the Vikings. And what was that? January 2023. Obviously met Aldo first time in Cleveland in 2021, right? Before that Browns
It was
game.
our first time, yes.
It was the first time we met in real life. Yeah. And then the next week I drove to Chicago, we went to that Lions game and beat Detroit there. Let's see. I don't want to shortchange anybody. The other Dan, help me out with Dan's pronunciation. Dan's name, I always fuck it up.
Shortino.
Yeah, Shortino. Love Dan. Love Ron too. We haven't had him on, but God, how do you? Let me get to Ron's name. I don't want to. Ron, is it Malazzo? Malazzo?
I think it is.
I'm a big fan of Ron. Aaron McCoskey, Chris Watts, Heidi. In the old days, both Phil and Shane. I can't take anything away from them. And who else am I missing here, though? I'm afraid I'm leaving somebody out. Oh, Jay Bonds, man. Jay and I talk during the games every week too. You remember Jay? You met him last season.
Absolutely,
on opening
great
day.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So these are hopefully guys that consider me friends, even if we've only met once or twice, and we're separated by states, but we're all united by this addiction that we have to the Bears, despite the fact they're not giving us all the energy we're giving. We're not getting back what we deserve. But in short, I appreciate everybody that I've met, and the Buffon brothers, mentioned them. Cliff Victoria, met him, and the guy that looked like Jeb Bush that was with him. Oh man, and what's the guy, the smooth guy that called Devin Hester on the phone? Why can I not think of his name? He was at your house.
Will Wright.
Love Will.
Yeah.
Where are you, Will? We haven't spoken in a long time. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody, but these are people that have reached out to me, and like I said, like Sonny's another one. That we talk in spite of distances and states and Bears losses. Just people you keep in touch with, and that's invaluable.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I'm rambling, but I appreciate everyone that I've met is what I'm trying to say. So I guess that's it. I wish I had something better written, I guess.
No, you're great, man. Again, I know some people are just coming on and saying, what? Dan's leaving? What? Yeah, because of some challenges at work, and they're changing his hours and so forth, his availability to do the show is under some stress, and he's already putting in a lot of hours. He's recently married. He needs to take care of his personal life, and hopefully in the future we'll either be able to do some stuff together here at the bar room, or at the very least he and I will get together, and Nikki and my wife hopefully, and we'll post video and pictures of all that so that you guys can stay in touch with the odd couple friendship of Dan Aguire and Aldo Candia.
I forgot to mention Mike North too, who was very kind to me.
Mikey, yes.
Yeah, I want to mention Mike. I hope I haven't forgotten somebody else, but the people that I speak to. And Aldo, I don't want to shortchange you on this. I know I got to go. Her nose is bleeding. She's like, come on, goddammit.
No, I'm not. No, it's all right. It's all right.
But
it's under control. It's okay.
I'm just saying, your kindness toward me is something that I haven't forgotten, and I want you to know how much I appreciated it. Whether it's picking me up at the airport or, taking me out to dinner or what have you. All these things that. Or just, we've sent each other gifts, Bear stuff in the mail and all that. But I appreciate all of that. And I don't want you to think that I took any of that for granted. Or just being at Soldier Field to me felt like, wow, every time I'm there, even with the Bears are getting the shit kicked out of them, I feel like this is something special.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Hey, by the way, speaking of gifts, that dildo that you sent me, can I exchange that for a smaller one?
You don't want a smaller one.
Yes, I do.
Who the fuck are you kidding?
I love it. Well, go take care of your wife.
I'm going to miss the show, for real.
Yeah. Who knows? You'll probably be back next week.
How long was the show? How long was it on for? I was wondering.
Almost 5 years.
Yeah, almost
Wow.
5 years. Because if I recall, everything went down with the previous show sometime during COVID, early
No,
COVID,
before
like
COVID.
March or April, wasn't it?
It
When
was
everything
the
went down.
That makes
it was
sense.
the year
Around
that we
there.
drafted Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm pretty sure you and I started this version of the show in like June of 20, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly.
I think that makes sense. Yeah. Jesus, COVID. I don't want to hear those words again or that word again.
I remember the first show because again we told a sex story and someone was like, "I tuned in to hear about the Bears, not about your dicks on YouTube." Somebody got pissed off.
It will always go down as one of the best features we've ever done here in the bar room, no matter what show. Dan's sex life. This was before you, Nikki.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
By the way, Dan, did any of those sex stories that you shared when you would share one, from the past and stuff, did any of them have to do with?
God, I'm sure some of them were with her because, and we got to go. But they, like I said, we were at school together, so sometimes we'd go like skip class. They had all these old school buses that weren't operational anymore. Like there'd be like 50 buses just parked. So we'd go fuck out in some of those old buses, and I'd be terrified that we're going to get caught.
50 couples around?
No. They would just be like a plethora of parked school buses, and we would just
rocking.
We would break into the school buses.
I love it.
I remember once we were at our grandmother's house, and their whole family's there. All these people, adults, men with weapons, that could harm me because I'm just a kid. And at some point, she managed to get me to fuck her on her mother's waterbed with her entire family, like 30 feet away. Terrified. I'm like, God damn it, they're gonna kill me. It's just like when you're like, please let me come, please let me come, please let me come.
He performed.
Good job there.
So there's some old school Nikki stories for you.
Yeah, well, we're gonna miss that most of all. The sex stories.
Oh, she's the one that was blowing me when Curtis Conway threw his helmet that time. I told you about that during the Redskins Bears game of 1997.
Ruski.
Anyway.
Wow. All right, my friend. Nikki, please take care of the nosebleed. Take care of my Dan, and we'll be talking very soon, okay?
Guys, I hope I haven't let anybody down, and I want every one of you tell you that I hope that we're friends, and I'll miss you, and hopefully we can stay in touch. Because you know how it is. I got to wrap it up, but if you work with somebody and you're like, oh, we're the best of friends, and then they leave the job and go somewhere else, you always intend to keep in touch, but then you don't.
Yes, exactly.
So I hope that we can.
I'll be texting you during games for sure.
Please do. Please do.
Yeah, just to let you know, I will still be stalking the chat.
Yes!
Just to let you know that I will still be stalking the chat. And since everyone thinks I've yokoed the situation, please send all of your hate mail to nuckyknox@gmail.com.
I love it.
It's not our fault, man. It's just work. And like I said, if they ever switch us back to 8 hours or something, I'll be like, hey, I'm back, But in the meantime, I'm going to take a sabbatical, I guess. I'm like Ricky Williams when he got pot.
Yeah.
I'm going to retire, but hopefully I'll be back.
And don't forget what this lady says.
And I know I'm probably not the first person to tell you that porn is really bad for your brain.
You mean the videos I watch? The videos I watch when women are blowing dogs are bad.
God. Maybe those are the ones that she meant. All right, get out of here, you.
All right, guys.
I love
care.
you, and we'll talk soon, okay?
All right, Danny.
Bye.
Yep. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, Dan.
It's Dan Aguire. All right, now that he's gone, we can talk about him like how we really feel. What an asshole. No, I'm going to definitely miss Dan in so many different ways, and I think we've covered it a lot, but one of the things that I know our audience is going to miss is his recall for games and him putting things in context
Exactly what
with
I was
Bears
thinking.
history.
Yep.
It's phenomenal. Just the talent
Photographic
that he
memory.
has. Yeah, really good stuff. Sonny, you have any shout outs? You want to shout out the kids who hopefully are not watching this show?
No. Yeah, just shout out to my friends that are listening. Although I appreciate you having me join, man. This meant a lot to me because I do, man. I've connected with Dan over these years. Like I met him one time in my life with you. It was the first time I met you as well.
Yeah,
Like, man, I've been talking to you for the past like nearly 10 years. Like I said, when it's the football season, almost daily sometimes, just bitching about the Bears or whatever the case may be. So I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to be here. I hope it's not his last show. But I kind of want to be a part of it because, I've been on a lot of show with Dan. So it meant a lot to me, man. I appreciate that. And clearly Tooch, you're obviously big part of this show as well. I hope you guys can, I know Aldo wants to take a little break, but I hope you find a way to kind of keep it going. I like the Bears content. I have a personally, obsession about it. I'm sure that, the chat as well. So you guys are doing a great job, man. And, I wish you luck on everything that you guys are doing. You're doing a great job. And again, thank you so much for having me on here.
You got it, brother. By the way, Ant Mas was being critical of the shirt you were wearing. He just joined us. I can't find what he said, so I can't share it with you. Oh, here it is. MC Fact, it is. He writes, that outfit that guy is wearing on the upper right. And then he's got some emojis.
You like it? It's all right.
Where did you get that shirt? Did you get it at the Al Pacino movies cruising wardrobe department?
It's like a brand. It's called the Metal Militia. It's more like a
okay.
Dirt bike motorcycles.
I'm just jealous you're showing off the guns, man.
Yeah, right, man.
All right, brother. Thanks for coming on. We'll talk to you later.
I appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Sonny.
Go Bears, man. We're going to win tomorrow.
Big upset. Johnny Santucci, and then there were two.
I know.
Mr. Wine Tasting says that you seem depressed. I think he just joined us and hasn't heard the news about Dan Aguire. Dan Aguire is alive, but he is leaving the show
maybe temporarily.
Maybe temporarily, because basically his work hours have changed, and that's the reason he can't commitment to doing the Tuesday or Wednesday night show. But we hope that things will change, and I know he still enjoys the show. He did complain a little bit, not complain, but he was wondering if he hasn't said the same stories over and over again, and whether things weren't getting dry. I'll tell you what, the Bears losing is making it a real challenge for a lot of podcasters. Like John Buffone was telling me the same stuff. He goes, Aldo, I feel like I'm saying the same shit every year, almost every show. Wait till next week.
That's why I said it's hard to write Bears State of Affairs tonight because we're just rehashing the same Eberflus shit.
Yeah.
It was Firefox. When I first joined the show, it was Firefox.
That's right.
The Firefox logo. and then it was like Fire Nagy, when's he gone? Before that it was Fire Tressman before Fox.
Right. I want to do like real cool things like like Thomas Brown's, doing the Shaft theme.
What are those Lions podcasts like? Man, I want to know.
Exactly.
like champagne corks popping, strippers rolling. Right?
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is that, they still have their Super Bowl virginity. So part of me, I don't know how you feel, Tooch. I'd love to know. But doesn't part of you feel like there's just no fucking way they're going to go to the Super Bowl? They're going to fuck it up somehow, some way. Don't you feel that way?
Yes and no, because, they really have a good team this year. And it's like, I can't, I don't think there's a better team than them in the NFL at this current moment in time. However, when the Bears won their Super Bowl the year before, they had to lose, on the road to almost getting there. So I would agree with you in that perhaps the Lions, have to lose in a NFC championship or something last year. Because what was the NFC was what, the Packers and Vikings or Niners? Last year was it the Lions and it was the Packers.
It was the Lions. It was the Lions.
They've already lost theirs. They lost their NFC championship, so they're ready to win now.
Yeah. And it was interesting because in his post-game press conference, Dan Campbell was upset and emotional, teary-eyed, and he was asked by the reporters, why are you so emotional? He says, you never know when you're going to come back here. You never know if you're going to get this chance again. And when you're presented with it, you got to take it because you just don't know if you're ever coming back. I think when he said that, I said to myself, oh, good. They're gonna blow it. They're gonna blow it. They're gonna go out and start on a losing streak and starts tomorrow. Watch.
I mean, they really have a good team, though. I mean,
they do.
I'm trying to. Nobody in the NFC really that can match up with them. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think. There's no. Maybe the Eagles. The Eagles will give them a hell of a game in the NFC Championship, I think. But
yeah, they will.
In the AFC, the Bills or Ravens or Chiefs, maybe they can hang with them. I don't know. Holmes is, capable of taking the team on his back, but he doesn't really have that good of offensive weapons around him this year. Travis Kelce he's just a shell of himself.
He really is. Yeah,
so,
I think Taylor Swift fucked all the football out of him.
Yeah, exactly. It's too much.
That should be a song. I fucked the football out of
Travis Kelce. Yeah, I mean, Josh Allen's another guy that could put a team on his back and carry you. And they do have a decent team. And then the Ravens don't have the best defense, but they have a hell of an offense with Lamar Jackson. There's, Derrick Henry running the ball. So I mean, whatever combination we get in the Super Bowl, it will be exciting this year. I guarantee you that.
Yeah.
Tomorrow a 50-point blowout is on the horizon for me.
I agree with Jim here. I think the Lions are going to put up about 38 points. Hopefully, it won't get close to 50, but I think
I don't know if David Montgomery's playing. He's been injured. I mean, I know it's David Montgomery revenge.
He's trending towards playing. He's questionable, but they're missing. I'm sorry?
He doesn't want to miss this one.
Yeah. Oh, no. He loves giving it back to the Bears.
To his whole team. Yep.
Yeah. But Taylor Decker, the left tackle, is out, so hopefully that's going to help Montez get a couple of sacks. And there's one other really important player to their lineup that's going to be missing. Chim, if you're still there and you know who the two guys who have been ruled out already, please let us know. And then Omar, I can't, for some reason, I'm not able to access Messenger, so I'll look for that clip and maybe share it on next week's show. Omar sent me a clip via Messenger about an old episode that Dan and I were on. Omar says it's going to be 28-31 Bears. Well, man, that would be nice. I'll take that fucking score. What were you looking up with? Did you find the other player that was out, definitely ruled out?
I have an injury report. Let me just.
Carlton Davis. It's the cornerback, Carlton Davis.
Okay, and the Bears. You talked about it with Mike North and Greg Gabriel. They're coming to the agreement with Arlington Heights, so the tax agreement. So maybe that's one more step toward building their franchise, and maybe. If the Bears were to build, like you and I have talked about, a dream football complex up there, a fan experience, they also will have maybe a Super Bowl, a Final Four, rock concerts, a casino, restaurants, bars, all that stuff. And then the McCaskies will finally, hey, it's worth $10 million now, we can sell it, man, we're done, and you get somebody in there that, could invest their time, resources, and knowledge into building a Super Bowl contender for years to come. But
yeah,
we can only hope right now.
The fact of the matter is that Virginia, she's not going to last long. God bless her, but she's 100, 101.
Maybe that's what they're waiting for, Aldo.
Yeah, it could be.
Maybe she's the one that's like, you'll not sell it while I'm alive.
Yeah.
I don't know if she sounds like that.
Not when I had her in bed. And George is getting up there. Isn't George like close to 80?
Yeah, I don't know. He's in his 70s, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So he might croak before his mom.
Shit, if I was them, I would have sold the team a while ago and been relaxed. I would have a European villa, I would have an island paradise, and maybe
Can you buy an island in the Philippines? Because you'd have the money.
probably there's like 7,000 of them. Yeah, you
I
can.
know.
Someone, I went on some boat tours. I saw someone had one that was like really tall, and there was a house. It was like almost like a tree house. It was just like one person or one family owned. Somebody owned it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I meant to take a picture. Went by on the boat a little too fast before I realized I couldn't get my video rolling. And there was another one that was like a normal island that had small and had someone had owned, a wealthy person, their own private island.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's on my bucket list to visit Philippines. Vizor Joe says Kindo Vilder will be playing cornerback. Hopefully Caleb exposes him. I don't think I think Kindo's already been exposed a number of times, but yeah, I hope Caleb can re-expose him because
it was a Ryan Pace guy, right? Kindle Vilder.
That's right. He Ryan Pace drafted him in, I want to say, 2019 draft. Saw him down at the Senior Bowl. I towered over the guy. I didn't think that he had a
That's
chance.
Right. I remember that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we should tell the viewers what's next for Aldo and Tooch maybe?
Yeah. Well,
obviously they'll bare their souls with Dan and Aldo.
Yeah. No, I want to continue to do Bare Their Souls with you if you'd like. And I know you can't
have to push it back an hour.
Yeah, or one of the things I was doing. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying. I was thinking of trying to book a guest for the first half hour, and then you come in, start the show a little later, and whatever. We'll figure.
It's hard to write these things right now. Although I'm just rehashing the Eberflus mistakes. I was wondering before, I'm like going through rewrites. I'm trying to take care of my kids and my mom. My wife went to work early. I wouldn't be able to do any of this without my wife. My wife has been giving my mom baths, changing her diapers, stuff like that. And my mom isn't the nicest to my wife either. And that's like a ton of friction for me. It's like, God bless my wife. I mean, my wife is amazing.
She's a sweetheart, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's rough here, man. I haven't.
Well, don't think you got to do spare state of affairs. We could, you and I can fill in an hour and a half.
I can't easily. Not do it though, Aldo. I can't not.
Yeah, do it. I know exactly how you feel.
It's catharsis,
Yeah. By the way, have you ever had coquito? It's the Puerto Rican kind of eggnog, but it's with coconut.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
Oh my gosh.
I would love to try it. Yeah.
I've OD'd on it a number of times. Like, I had a buddy who made coquito, and I would buy like 6 bottles. Eggnog? And 5 of them I would give off as presents, or I was supposed to give as presents.
Rum or something?
Yeah, Bacardi and coconut. Okay. I'm not sure what else is in there. Look at the King Booker World. His fiance is selling coquito. Okay, nice. Man.
And then does it have like nutmeg or cinnamon and stuff?
Yeah, it's got cinnamon, nutmeg too, I think. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
Vizor Joe is recommending Danny Shimon to be the co-host. We may not.
Aaron Current would be good too.
Aaron Current would be good. Yeah, there's a number of people who I'm sure would be interested in working with us, if not weekly, at least coming.
Tyler Ellis is not. He doesn't do any shows anymore, huh?
Tyler, no, not with the bar room. I'm not sure if he's doing anything.
Have time, right? Or is that what happened?
Yeah, his schedule's crazy, man.
Bobby Bombs, we got deployed, and we haven't had him back.
I hope he's still alive. I haven't heard from him. My good buddy Bobby Bombs used to do the Barfly Tailgate Show. Yep. Anyway, we'll talk about this off air.
We'll still have a Barfly Tailgate Show tomorrow, 9 a.m.
That's right, 9 a.m. tomorrow. The fun starts here at the Barroom Network, and if it's a absolutely fantastic game, I might come on and do a post-game show, and whoever wants to join me will can do so. And then on Friday, Greg Gabriel and Danny Shimon together on Friday to do a post-game show the day after. So that should be fun. And then, of course,
sell coquito at the liquor stores.
They sell it now in liquor stores?
I'm going to have to go look for it.
Yeah, well, they probably do. Probably one of these major companies that's always trying to, rip off the Latino taste, just like they've done to the
Cultural
Italians for
appropriation. Have you had that THC seltzer yet?
No, I have not. I want to try that.
Illinois?
I think they do. Well, they
Okay,
sell
so
marijuana.
They have the. I know. Yeah, I know. Iowa doesn't sell marijuana, but they sell these. They sell the seltzer. Nice. They sell the seltzer. The brand is called Climbing Kites, and they have all different flavors. And man, I tell you,
I've heard of that. I heard that is really good.
it is great. One of them is just enough to get you like in the zone. It's like, man, woo, you try it.
Well, there's good news.
I'll bring some out
Bacardi.
when I come out next time, but it's like for a 4-pack, it's like $20.
Oh, let's do
But
it.
anyway.
Let's get together. Next time you come out, we
Crazy,
have to
though,
get
$20
together.
for a 4-pack.
I know. But good news about the Coquito. Omar says that Bacardi is selling it, and that's a great company located in Puerto Rico. They make the best Puerto Rican rum in the world.
Yeah.
Of course.
I was I thought it was tequila. It was a tequila. I was gonna say, but I did a
Mexico.
we have the magazine by liquor.com.
Yeah.
That I did a bourbon one. I recently did a tequila one. And there was an article about the origins of tequila, and it turns out that Filipinos invented tequila in Mexico.
Is that right?
No. You don't know the story. Okay,
Tell us.
When the Philippines and Mexico were both Spanish colonies, so the Spaniards they were fucking everybody. They were like, they mixed with them, Mexican, the natives.
It's in my blood too.
The Puerto Rican, the horny Spaniards went around the world. Okay, but anyways. The Spaniards brought a bunch of Mexicans to help build the Spanish colonial buildings in the Philippines, in Manila and Vigan, some of these other cities, Cebu, and Spanish style architecture. So, and they sent Filipinos to work in Mexico in cultivating and agriculture, rice, coconuts. They brought coconuts and a bunch of other stuff. And when the Filipinos were there, in their downtime, they brought their still that they would make coconut rum from in Philippines. And the Mexicans, the natives there, were like, "Wow, look at that! Let's we could do this with agave." They wanted to the still, the hot thing to distill. How did you do that? So they did it with agave, the Filipinos and the Mexicans.
Right,
but
right.
They gave them the technology to brew the tequila.
Wow,
I didn't know that. I tell my wife that too. She was surprised too.
There's a lot of interesting stories like that. Like it's the Chinese that invented spaghetti. Have you heard that one?
Yep.
Marco Polo brought it.
He brought tomatoes from the Orient to grow it in Italy.
Wow, I didn't know that part of it. Hey, you got a weekend sports betting tips show on Friday? Probably not, right?
I think so. We have a Friday weekend sports betting tips. So I'm busy. I got Barfly Tailgate tomorrow, weekend sports betting tips on Friday. And I believe Joe Mandel has said he would like to do a fantasy football goon show on Sunday morning. So
yes, that's right. Early Sunday, like around 9 or 10. Yeah.
Early Sunday. Yeah, that's good. I mean, I have a bunch of stuff going on as it is, so it's kind of nice to spread it out for me. But I convinced the bathing aide to come by tomorrow and help give my mom a bath.
Oh, awesome.
I've been playing phone tag, and I keep telling these people, don't try and call my mom, call me. And then my mom was in the emergency room. She fell on Monday trying to get out of bed and cut her head open. So I spent Monday in the emergency room all morning. Then I went to work. And I wasn't getting a signal in there, and I didn't, I was just went to work. I'm working on people and stuff, and I didn't check my voicemail. Apparently, yesterday we had 4 appointments all around the same time, and so a bunch of people came to our house, and they're like, "Well, your mom's not here," and I'm at the office, and they're like, I think they're mad. This lady, the head nurse, who's the private, she's not returned my call in 2 days. And the first nursing agency dropped us because they wanted my mom to go back in the nursing home. And we were like, no, we're not going back in the nursing home, So I don't know if this lady's mad at us too. Now we're running out of options here. My mom's a toddler, problem child.
That's how my mom was at the end, man. She would fall out of bed a lot of times just trying to get up, and you try to talk sense They can't do it. Well, my prayers are going out to you and your wife because she's, that the impact on her is huge, and God bless your little girls for helping out as much as they do.
Oh man, you should have seen them too. I put grandma's socks on. I was like telling them, "Well, your left foot, your right foot." My girls putting up, they would help me put
How nice,
grandma's doggy or sweatpants so we could get her in bed.
Yeah, that's nice.
Like Camilla was trying to get the sweatpants on. She ended up putting both of grandma's legs in one pant leg.
Mm-hmm.
I like stand her up. She's got both legs in one pant. Like Camilla.
That's wild. Well, God bless you and your family for tomorrow, Thanksgiving, and God bless everyone who's watching live and might watch on demand. God bless you all.
Cliff, did you see Cliff's note in the chat? He said, "Oh, everyone's busy tomorrow. We're doing Thanksgiving on Saturday." And I told, my wife was like, I was like, "Yeah, okay, so she's working tomorrow." And I'm like, "Well, you're going to be asleep during Thanksgiving. How are we doing?" She's like, "Oh, I made it for Saturday." I was like, "Nobody does Thanksgiving on Saturdays, babe."
Yeah.
So we're having our Thanksgiving Saturday. Cliff was in the chat room. He said he's doing his on Saturday too. It actually gives me a little more time to cook, But
you can have Thanksgiving whenever you want. Yeah. I saw Tracy Wolfson was a sideline reporter. She's working the game tomorrow, one of the games tomorrow, and she said we celebrate Thanksgiving on Tuesdays because of my job. And God bless her and her family. Hey, whenever you want, as long as you're spending time with those that love you and you love them, that's what it's all about, brother. With that, we'll say goodbye. I will, again, Barfly Tailgate Show tomorrow morning.
Yeah, tomorrow morning. I got to be up early for this one. Yep.
Yes, you do. So,
for the show.
No masturbating tonight. Just go straight to bed, okay?
Nope, none. I'm too tired.
And again, for Dan Aguire, my good friend, his maybe last show, we'll know, whatever, for him, for Tooch, for myself, for Sonny. Thank you all for watching. Yeah. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you.